Hey, look, I am ready for battle. I've decided to, whenever the hair is up or a hat's on, you know that I am hard at work on something. So here I am this evening. We are going to do it. We're going to try to do our chat this evening with Tony. Tony is having some technical problems right now with his internal internet at his house, and he knew he was having some problems before we got on. And he thought he had it worked out, but so we're trying something different. He's running an Ethernet cable at the moment. But I had a few things to talk about before we got started anyway. This is not a regular CAF update, as everybody knows. I was going to do a regular Comic Art Spotlight straight interview with Tony. I've got 24 pieces of artwork queued up to show too, and they're all pretty darn fantastic. So I'm hoping Tony gets this issue worked out. But I had a question for the audience, because I get asked this a lot. And I'm sure many of you in the audience have run into this question before, or have used a service like that. But just in general, who would you recommend for comic art appraisals? And you guys feel free to shoot me an email. I've gotten like 3 people asking me about it since these questions have come up on the Sunday collectors chats, and there's been different talk about trying to come up with living wills and those sorts of things. So it's gotten a lot of collectors thinking about it. So anybody who has experience with any appraisal service for comic art, and I know a lot of dealers do it, and I'm sure most of the auction houses do it, but for different reasons, of course. But if anyone's ever used one, an appraiser for insurance purposes, I would love to hear about it. Right. Well, I was going to jump into the art actually, Ruben, instead of just doing a lot of song and dance. So he gave me a lot, and we were just going to see how far we would get with all of it, because obviously, as you can see, I'm a little bit worse for wear after the schedule I've had so far this week. But so there's that. Anybody who has any appraisal experience where they've worked with anybody, let me know, at least on the good experiences, because I don't want to refer anybody to somebody where they didn't have a good experience. So that Mitch and Albert. Yep, Mitch and Albert. Those 2 were definitely on my list. I know both of them would be pretty good. I think I've seen like Glenn might have it as something he promotes as a service. So anyways, yeah, I'll I'll be making notes, and if anybody has any emails, any thoughts that they want to send me by email, I'll take that too. So as some of you may or may not know too, that yesterday was actually the 1-year anniversary of the Comic Art Live channel. On May 19th of 2020, we did that first Comic Art Live chat with Mike, Will, Glenn, and I, just as a test to see how things would go. So there you go. We should be all having a toast this evening, or we couldn't have done it last evening with the dueling dealers going on. But and yeah, Berkey would be another option. So, but anyways, yeah, 1 year, pretty crazy. And now we're having the next show this Saturday. So I've been working very diligently with Maureen on the show, and the one thing I hate to tell you, I don't think we're going to have in there is that make offer. It's such a simple thing, but we've been moving around so many other small pieces that we wanted to also get in here that there were programming updates that one is probably going to fall the wayside, unfortunately. And yes, thank you very much. It has been a very fun and eventful year. Where would we be if we hadn't all gotten hooked up and everything? And Dino, I just have to say, you are one of the best ambassadors in the hobby, because I appreciated that email you sent to Mikhail and Jason after the show, kind of welcoming them both to the fraternity of amateur dueling dealers. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that really just makes me happy to be a part of this hobby, knowing that there's, that everybody's out there for each other. And it's those little things that really, that go on in the hobby, I think, all the time, between the friendships that are going on out there, that just really make our hobby really special. There's cutthroat aspects to it, but by and large, there's a lot of care in there. And that's really makes me very, very happy. I'll throw this out there because I know I've seen this name in the chat before. Jason is actually waiting for someone to get back to him from his duel, which happens every now and again. And I know I've seen this name before, not often, but I think I saw it in maybe one of the early Dueling Dealer episodes. The name of the person in YouTube was Jimmy Izarari. Picked up one of Jason's pieces. So if Jimmy is ever in the chat or sees this, Jason is still waiting to hear from you as of this afternoon. I did text with him earlier just to make sure he hadn't heard anything. And I put an email out to both Anthony and Mike to see if they remembered, because I feel like somebody has dealt with them once in the past. So, yeah, so there's that too. And good evening, Eric. We're waiting on Tony to see if he can get everything working. I guess his Wi-Fi was shot and they thought they had it fixed. So he is running a 100-foot Ethernet cable over to his laptop to try to get himself up and running. So fingers crossed this will all work out. Are those calves? Yes, they are actually, Bill. They are. I'd have to find the link for it, but I think it's TeePublic. That's where we have them. Yeah, here I can just put the link in the YouTube chat for anybody interested. And they're always running a sale. It's like everything is 35% off now, so you can get a calf T-shirt for $13, believe it or not. And just let's get this over here in the on Twitter, and there we go. So anyways, yes, waiting. So as far as Saturday goes, I just want to make sure everybody, if anybody runs into any problems with their booth setup before Saturday, please let me know. I've been addressing just some minor stuff for first time people who are new to the whole show. I can tell you that we crossed the 2,000 art threshold about probably 2 hours ago. There currently, if I take a look, there are 1,600 pieces of art that are going to drop on Saturday from 152 exhibitors, and we've got another 500 that will be dropping on Sunday. So we're over 2,100 artworks that will be coming out. Exactly. And you know, I haven't really tried to promote those TeePublic sales, because I really have been wanting to even make like a dueling dealer one that we could put out there that people could pick up on their own, and I've just never had the opportunity to put it together. Am I buying anything on Calf Live? I have some keywords set up, but honestly, I really haven't had a chance to look at anything that's out there. As everybody knows, like as a super admin, sure, I could pop around and see stuff that's on there, but no. But sure, you know, everybody knows the few things that I want. So, but you know, I'm sure there will be no Elementals artwork being offered. If there's a Kirby Thor, it's probably going to be out of my price range. So, but will I be looking? Absolutely. So we'll see. You never know. I picked up 3 pieces in the last show, so I was happy about that. And I hope to at least pick up 3 or 5 more. That would be good. I may even do one of those talent talks, even though I probably won't be able to sit in and talk with the talent. I'll just be able to buy my sketch card and get it sent to me. But I plan on doing at least one of those, and then if I can spare 5 minutes to do the chat whenever they're doing them over the weekend, I will. But yeah, I wanted to do that. I think, you know, those creators are taking their time out of their weekend to do that for the show. Some of the creators I do know also benefits the Hero Initiative a little bit, although I don't think it states which do or not. But you know, at the end of the day, just the opportunity to work with those guys, you know, which is, you know, McLaughlin from Hero is somehow related to Talent Talk too. That's why you see a lot of the kind of regular faces there. But you know, I've always been a big supporter of trying to just put money directly into creators' hands. And so we have this show where we're really going to be buying things from collectors by and large, and being able to bring the artists into the show, I think, is really important. And so I hope that we fill up most of those artists, those 8 artists, had 10 slots available, and I believe half of them were almost sold out. And so it would just be good to have a good sellout for them, and then that way we can maybe do something even neater the next time. So we're working out the drink and draw was a little bit confusing for me with Hero, just so everybody knows. It was what was it? We thought it was Saturday night. Turns out it's Friday night. So it's gonna be tomorrow night at 9:30 Eastern. They're doing the drink and draw, and they didn't even tell me when they put the darn things on sale, and it sold out. It sold out rather quickly. So I couldn't promote it to the people who are going to our show, even though it is effectively a comic art live event. So that was it was a bit disappointing. So that's going to go on tomorrow night and it starts at 9:30. So with my calf update tomorrow, I'm probably going to start at 8:30 just to be clear and out of the way when that when the drink and draw starts, because it should be a lot of fun. Walt Simonson's going to be in on it, and I don't even know the full list. Jim Calfiore, Tom Rainey, Dan Brereton. There are, I believe, 4 artists from Next Comic Art who will be in the Philippines, so it'll be mourning for them. They're going to be in on it. Gosh, I can't remember. I think there's about 20 artists that are taking part in it, and it's going to be a little confusing. I don't have to manage any part of it. They're going to run it through Zoom and rebroadcast it through our YouTube channel, because StreamYard, the happy confines that I work in here, are basically can only accommodate 10 streams at a time. So trying to bring in 20 people will not work, and there was no way to kind of schedule. These guys go first, these guys go second. So sorry, just reading through the chat. Yeah, I can tell you that I have poked at the search just a little bit, and there are some 6-figure artworks in this in the show this time. Not right now, just 3. So some pricey stuff, but very beautiful, definitely. Sorry, I'm just looking through it now. See, this is why I shouldn't even bother to look, because there's just too much good stuff in there. I really do think this show is going to be much better and have at least as much artwork as the November show. So we'll see. I mean, Ron, thank you. I appreciate that. Goes into the tip jar. So I actually have, I'll have my new hire starting next week. So just a week too late, right? I could have had some help before leading into the show. But are they all mine? No, they're not, Wes. Those 6-figure artworks, those are not mine. And hey, Tony is actually popped into the chat here. So we're going to see. I haven't pulled it. I'm going to bring him in. So we're going to see how his internet connection's working. No, there's lots. Well, I'll tell you, Rich, there's definitely on the low end side of things. If I were to, just since I'm in here, I'll do a sort for Saturday on 500 or less, and I'll tell you how many. So there are 800 of those artworks are priced $500 or less. So plenty of artwork to be had at reasonable prices. So that's a positive. Let's see. All right. I'm going to bring Tony in now. We're going to see how his internet connection is going, because he's going to know right away if this is working or not. So here we go. Okay. How's it looking, Tony?
I can actually hear you now.
Yay, all right. That's good. So now we know it is literally just your Wi-Fi. That's the problem. Now that you're tied to the Ethernet, you're good.
As long as you do have a 150-foot cable to get from your computer to the modem, you're in good shape.
Yeah. No, I've done that. We did that. We had to do that with Anthony for the first couple shows of Dueling Dealies, because he was on Wi-Fi and it was a mess. And so I had him drill a hole through his floor. So we got it worked out. But no, that's good. I'm glad. I was getting worried. I was running out of monologue here. So.
I say, well, how long can I keep Bill going? It's already 15 minutes. I'm waiting for the song and dance to kick in.
No. Well, hey, we got a lot of people here watching, so it was good. I had a few things to cover before we got started, and I'll cover more of it. Like I said, everybody, I'll probably start at 8:30 tomorrow, so I can cover any last minute questions for the show. But please, on that appraisal question I had for you guys, if anybody has recommendations outside of what you said in the chat, please email it to me, because I'd love to have a little list that I can then send out to anybody who's asking me about, who could do appraisals. That way, if you give them 3 or 4 people, then it's really not on me. I'm not recommending one person. I'd feel better doing it that way. So, Tony, all right. So you've seen these before, so you know how we always get them started. We want to go over your whole origin story. But I first wanted to thank you, because you've been a regular participant in the chats. You bought art on Dueling Dealers, and trust me, that means a lot. I mean, anybody who's out there supporting all the work that we're doing and tuning into the live streams when you have time. I mean, I can't thank you and everybody else who's in the chat this evening enough for supporting the work that we've been doing here for the last 12 months. Tony is froze. Tony, let's see. Sorry, I was missing some. Ron, what's your gallery name? All right. Tony is back again. Let me pull him out. Try and bring him back in. Nope. So the Ethernet may not be working after all. Well, live and learn. We try. Maybe somebody pulled the cable out down there on the modem. We'll see. But what else did I have to go over? I know I had a couple things here that I wanted to talk about. Oh, he's back again. Let's see.
The option to get out of that.
Uh-oh, it's not looking good, Tony. All right. I'm going to pull Tony out for a second and answer some questions since I see them. Let's see. Yes, the way the show works, it's the same way we did it in the November show. Everybody who has a booth has a maximum number of artworks of 48. 24 that drop on Saturday, 24 that drop or up to 24 on Sunday. Somebody could put 12 on one day and 12 on the other if they wanted, or they could put all 24 on one and none on Sunday, or 24 and 24. We really don't care. But we did that because when we did the first show in May, what was it? Only 16 artworks total we let you have, and all of it dropped on Saturday. So nobody had any reason to come back on Sunday, even though we were running the panels and the show was really through. I think the first show we did it through 6 p.m. on Sunday. So just no reason to stay. So when we came up with, we were pondering how to get people to come back on Sunday. That's how we came up with the 2 art drop model, 24 pieces maximum each day, so that when the art drop happens on Sunday, if the person, if they have 24 and 24, they have 48. That's always a question. People are like, do I lose my Saturday artwork when the Sunday one drops? No, Sunday is just adding to your Saturday total. The big thing and with the booths go is that people cannot change the artwork once they're committed. So like 10 a.m. on Saturday is a cutoff time for adding any artwork into your Saturday art drop. After the art drops, they can an exhibitor can mark the artwork as sold. They can change the price, lower the price if they want to, but they can't swap it out, because the real reason being is that this is a benefit to premium members, and in most cases, if it's a collector who's exhibiting, the booth has links over to their CAF classified. So this isn't just a free for all, just keep dumping art in all weekend long. It's it's a benefit, but there's limits to the benefit. I didn't want it to be like let somebody come in and just dump 250 artworks in there. That wasn't really the way we wanted to do it. Yeah, Ron, that's exactly what I was hoping most people would do. And like I told the exhibitors, because premium members get that benefit 2 hours early on Saturday only, I was hoping people would bring their best art to drop on Saturday, because that gives that 2-hour exclusivity window to premium members. And again, this is all, this was a show to benefit the people who've always supported comic art fans, and at the same time, I was trying to find ways to just really help the whole hobby when we knew we thought we were in trouble going into COVID. As it turns out, the hobby's boomed since that happened. But that was really the inspiration for doing the show was really to help support the collectors who supported CAF, and honestly help the dealers, because I had so many dealers coming to me in the springtime last year, just really concerned about what was going on and how we were going to bolster the hobby and keep commerce rolling and keep them relevant, and because these are my advertisers, and so when we spoke a lot about it, that was really where Comic Art Live kind of got started as a show. And so at any rate, yes, thank you, Bill, for the t-shirt order. That's great. The ringers are the best, although I saw Will had one on Tuesday that was a v-neck that was pretty darn cool. So best, all right, and Tony's in here again. I hate to leave him sitting there, but I'll answer. Best strategy to find art. You got to go straight to the search and do your sorts that way. So and the search is smart enough that when you go back on Sunday, you can say just search on the Sunday art drop. So if you're already done, you don't need to look at Saturday artwork anymore. The search allows you to just look at Sunday art drop stuff. So that's really the strategy you have to employ. It's unfortunately the art drops are not tied to our CAF want list emails. I mean, I know they should be, but they're not. That is something I wish I had implemented, but I haven't done that yet. So maybe I can try to get that part of it, because it would, of course, make it really easy for premium members, right? If we were pushing the art drop information already out, matching your keyword stuff. So I know that that was something that was asked of us, and I haven't gotten to. Chris, the opening time for premium members on Saturday is 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The show opens to free CAF members and the general public at 1 p.m. on Saturday. So premium members get that 2-hour access. And then, but again, booth editing for Saturday for the Saturday art drop ends at 10 a.m. But anybody who's an exhibitor can add artwork to their booth for the Sunday art drop up until 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sunday as well. So, all right. And Tony dropped out again. So I'm getting a bad vibe that we are going to have to reschedule with Tony. But yeah, Ron Lim artwork. I don't know. I could actually tell you how much Ron Lim, the artist, artwork is in the show. Only 4 artworks. 4 artworks. An Infinity Gauntlet page, an Infinity War page, 2 Infinity War pages, and a Silver Surfer page. So there you go. But yeah, the search is your friend. That is for sure. Right. I mean, who in the chat? Well, I don't have artwork though, guys. That's the thing. We can't show art. I really could invite anybody that wants to pop in here for a few minutes. We can BS. Actually, I always forget that this thing actually has a. There we go. Copy to this. See, if I put this in there, we'll probably have too many people popping in. But I will put this into the YouTube chat, and I mean, I'll be happy to BS for an hour. So anybody that wants to pop in, as long as you're not mad at me about something, I don't want to get yelled at tonight. I'm too tired. Tony's popping back in. We're trying to get this thing to work. Let's see. Tony, I got you back in here. Doesn't seem to be working, all right?
Well, so far the hotspot is working, so we will keep our fingers crossed.
All right. Well, if this works, okay. So because I had some people volunteering to just kind of hop in and chat, but everybody who I've sent that link out there, just sit tight. If we lose Tony again, I'm more than happy to bring somebody else in. But we want to look at some art. We want to know how Tony got started in this hobby of ours. But he's frozen again. Oh, no, there he is. All right.
I don't know where the camera. I'm using my iPad, and this is new to me with the camera. So oh well.
Well, the camera.
What do you want first? I forgot where we were.
Well,
frozen.
No, I'm frozen on you, man.
Okay, now you're back. You're back.
All right. Sorry, there's lots of questions in the chat, but no, it's the origin story. How'd you get started in collecting original art and everything else?
Okay, basically like everybody else, started collecting comics at 11 years old, bought my first Hulk 144, and that pretty much blew away all the Archies and Harvey comics I've been reading before then. It kind of mushroomed from there. I just was really interested in these characters I hadn't heard of before. The storyline seemed like much more of a grown-up experience. Come on back. Don't know. Uh-oh. Not a good look.
Tony, I'm telling you, man, if this isn't going to work, I'm happy to,
Okay. Tell you what, I don't want to disrupt this for anybody else. And I don't know, I can't rely on this. We need a few days to work out these Wi-Fi. If we want to reschedule, then let's reschedule. I don't want to hold everybody up.
No, that's fine. Yeah. I'm disappointed because like I said, I love so much of your collection. I'm very excited to talk about it, but yeah, let me. What I can do is I'll just shoot you an email. We'll figure out, or what you should do is you need to let me know when they fix whatever the problem is.
I'll do that. I'm gonna work on it, and who knows how fast Comcast gets going. But all right, I'll do that, and we'll set it back up. I'm sorry, everybody. I was looking forward to this. I'll be back though.
All right, Tony.
All right.
So I guess my offer still stands. Anybody that wants, I saw somebody pop in. I think the name was Doug, but I didn't get to read it too quickly. Green sheets laying around. No, we did not. We literally had to go out and buy the green screens and the backdrops to hang those on. So I'll be honest. At first, I was just using a off-color sheet for it, and then I realized, as often as we were going to do it, we needed to be semi-professional and actually get marks out in the thing. Yeah, well, anybody who wants to, I put the link in there. I don't know if anybody saw it. I'll put it in there again. If anybody wants to pop in and chat, feel free. But no, we pretty much, we bought all that. We bought the lights. I've tried a couple different mics. I've tried a couple different cameras. So it took a little bit of time. I got Berkey to buy the exact same green screen setup And so we put he had an empty room, so we just basically set up the whole thing there, and that's where we shot the Billigan episode and all those particular ones that we did together where he was a skipper. But we have learned that Hulk doesn't shoot very well on a green screen, because he's green. And I actually did a whole bit where I was Shaggy. I was gonna do I had about 10 different lines to do for something fun that way, and with Shaggy. And then I got done doing them all. I came in to edit it, and but I had a green V-neck on, and it just disappeared with the rest of the background. So I've actually bought a blue sheet now to hang in the back for when I want to wear green. So let's see. There's Drew Clark. I saw Ruben's in here, but his camera isn't working. Hey, Drew, how's it going?
It's going good. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you just fine.
Excellent.
I'm gonna switch over to my earbuds here, because just in case I don't want to get any feedback. But yes, blue screens. Oh, and there's Ruben too. I can bring Ruben in here while I'm getting things set up over here.
What's up, guys?
Hey, Ruben.
Hey, Ruben.
Hey, Drew. Hey,
Yeah,
Drew's a new guy on, so maybe we should just listen to him. He'll be the new guy.
That's right.
well, there's two Andrew Clarks, and we both collect Conan. The one with the E has an awesome collection, and I have a very minor collection.
That's right.
Well, there's two Andrew Clarks, and we both collect Conan.
Oh, you gotta shut down your.
And I have a very minor collection.
Yeah, I hear somebody's got some reverb going on.
Hopefully that took care of it.
You gotta shut down your.
I'm on sort of a delay.
Yeah, something's. I'm going to mute your mic for a minute there, Rich. Okay, it stopped, didn't it? No, I still hear it. I don't know where that's coming from. Yeah. Hey, hang on. No, let me see. Yeah, it was Rich's. Okay, I'm sorry. I clicked on Drew's first.
Okay.
See, when these shows were off the cuff, it's a little hard to. Yeah, I'm not sure. Hey, Rich, I've got your mic. When I mute your mic, we're getting reverb whenever I turn your mic back
Turn
on.
off my mic.
These shows were off the cuff. Well, if we turn off your mic, then we won't be able to talk to you. I've got your mic. I'm not sure why it's doing it. It's like your speakers are picking up the audio.
Turn off my mic.
See,
I had to close out of the YouTube and just go through this, so maybe he's got both open.
Oh, yeah, that would account for the 6. Are you listening through YouTube at the same time, Rich?
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to turn that off. That'll fix it.
Better?
Yes.
Yay! All right, we got it.
Carlos, that's nice of you to say, but it's making the other panelists not look good. Come on, man.
I missed what Carlos said, but yeah, it happens. There's like a 6-second delay on this from what we see here in the stream to what gets broadcast out to everybody. That's why dueling dealers can get very challenging at times. And like you saw last night, Mike, he was calling claims too soon. I always tell everybody, wait. If you see a claim pop up in the chat, wait at least 3 seconds, because it almost invariably someone else's claim will actually nest itself in the right spot, and it's because of the delay from us in the studio to people watching us out on YouTube or Facebook.
But it's understandable. You're selling all that art.
Right, you get excited, especially on a slow night. Like last night was pretty slow. So yeah, he gets excited. I mean, I get it. It's tough for me to sit there and watch people say, "Bill, they already claimed it."
Yeah.
I'm sitting there watching it just because I don't want to screw up.
Yeah, for sure. Well, also the other thing I've been thinking about a lot too is it's because of that delay. It's actually it would actually be beneficial for the dealers to try to sort of focus on waiting a bit for that delay to pass. If only because of the fact that oftentimes there will be, back to back or even 3 or more claims. And oftentimes what you've seen happen is they'll take somebody's offer, let's say, at 500, for example. And then, they go, okay, I'll take that 500. And literally a second later, you'll see some other guy's claim come in, saying, I'll take it for 6. And, they could have gotten the extra 100 out of it, but they already accepted the offer, too fast.
And that's what's happened. It happened once to Anthony, where he got, had that exact same thing happen. And I mean, but Anthony's also kind of stuck it to a few people where he almost was willing to give something up at a certain price, and then the chat comes in. Yeah. So he's burned himself and gotten burned it's not easy. That's the problem at the end of the day with it. That's why we just all have to keep a good smile on our face when things aren't going quite right, because what are you going to do? And clearly some people are more like 24 seconds behind. If they don't think to pull their slider all the way over on YouTube, which they can do to get closer, then because we see people responding to stuff that's 20 seconds in the past. And so you feel for them. It's like you can't stop the show and try to educate people on how to get themselves right at the same pace here. And look, there's a fifth person joining us now, even Alfredo. It's a party here this evening. I don't know how we're gonna. So at any rate, what do we want to talk about? I guess that's the question. I've got about an hour to kill because that's what I allotted for this evening.
Favorite Conan artist and why?
Favorite Conan artist. Do I even have?
That's not really an art thing, though. That's more like comic book guy.
Well, but you might. It's an artist kind of thing. I mean, I think wouldn't everybody's. Well, I guess everybody wouldn't say this, but John Buscema is always going to be my first choice. I guess probably Ernie Chan a little bit, but but John would probably be always my favorite. I love all the roughs that are out there. The sketches and quick layouts that he's got that are on the market. I think those are really cool. I mean, I own a few. I mean, I kind of like. I guess I'm in a way I'm like Rich. I like the process as much as I like the finished work. So
I always thought that Kaluta did a really good Conan too.
That's true. Yeah.
And Sandy has done a lot of Conans too, Sandy Plunkett, and he's been saying that the longer he draws them, the more bulk he starts to give them. Like he finds that he draws them now with more heft than he used to, because everybody used to talk about Conan should be lithe and he shouldn't quite be so. He's not supposed to be Schwarzenegger, right? He's supposed to be kind of somebody who could move around fairly quickly. So, are you guys hearing me? Okay.
Oh yeah, no, we're here. We're not. We're letting you talk. Yeah, I was reading the chat. I was just seeing. We've got a Neil Adams, most obscure comic artist, Todd McFarlane here, and I'm going to put myself down on the bottom so the chats can cover me. Nobody needs to see me. Let's see. Yes, everybody wants to see art though, but I can only show Tony's art. That's all I've got. I can't show off his art. We got to share that there. All right, Barry Windsor Smith. See, there's a ton. What about Frazetta? You're right, Ronald. What was I thinking? So you got 2 Frazettas and 2 for Smith. So all right. You guys got me there. I like Smith's work a lot, but I'm just kind of mediocre on his Conan work, though. I don't know why. It was not like one of my more favorite periods, I guess. But Rudy Nevers, yep, tons.
I guess when I'm thinking about Kaluta, I'm thinking about when he did his run on King Conan. Mm-hmm. Remember the big, huge poster he used to have in the shops? Like he's on an altar. I think he's been killed, or the death of Conan, or something like that. I forget what it's called.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah.
See, there you go. Ernie Chan, Ernie Chua. Yep. Red Nails was awesome. All right, Alex, you got me there. That's true. That is true. I have a copy of the Red Nails book that
and of course, I bought the Mark Schultz Conan book too. Where he did the plates. Mm-hmm. It was all short stories of Conan, and I really enjoyed that. But I don't know if he's necessarily my favorite. I always found that Schultz really used to draw these big ears. Like it seems like the longer he drew characters, the ears got bigger. But I remember he did a really good one with the. What's that big elephant character that's sitting on the throne?
Yagkaja.
Yeah, that was a great one.
What?
Yeah, Beyond the Black River is my favorite.
Now that one I don't know anything about.
Drew, I've read all of those, but I don't even know what you said. Can you say that again, please?
Beyond the Black River. That's the one where Conan's not really the main character.
No, the name of that weird character you just said.
Oh, Yagkasha. It's like YAGK something, but he's the elephant from space.
Yeah, the blind elephant.
Yep. Yeah, Marvel did that 3 times. I've got a couple of the strips because a lot of people don't even know Conan had a daily strip that ran from like 77 to 81, and they did the Tower of the Elephant, which was they did it in the regular series, the Savage Sword series, and that newspaper strip series. Because at one time they had Howard the Duck, they had Incredible Hulk, they had Conan, they had Spider-Man, but the only one that had legs was Spider-Man, which ran for like 30 plus years. Or around there. So,
Alfredo, you haven't said a single word yet.
I didn't want to interrupt, but people want to see art. So if you guys want, I could give you a tour of the man cave, and you guys could enjoy it as much as I do every day.
Yeah, please do. That's the one request I get more than anything is people are like, why don't you get them to show off how they display their art? And they like
switch the camera.
And here I can put you full screen so we can see a little bit though, because there doesn't seem to be much wall space left on in your room.
Yep. Let me see if I could figure this out. Rear camera's probably what. Okay. All right, here we go. So, can you guys hear me okay?
Was that a Batman kitty litter box?
No, that's a Batman bed for my puppy Waffles. My dog. And these are actually, well, that box is full of pool equipment because I actually maintain my own pool. These the Hulk and the Spidey are Halloween candy holders for for Halloween. Anyways, so this is the man cave. Can you guys see it all right?
It's a little blurry.
Yeah. It's a little blurry. Oh, I don't know if we could improve it. Let me see if from back here. I actually got the TV on. Let me turn off the TV. Maybe that'll help.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I think your camera's a little not as it was sharper when it was using the other angle.
The other angle. Well, let me see if I get closer. Maybe if I get closer, you guys will be able to see the art one at a time.
Yeah, hold still. I can almost make that one out. Spider-Man and Falcon. Yeah, that's cool.
This is a Craven's Last Hunt page that I got from Berkey when he actually sold, I think, 5 issues. This is probably one of my favorite pieces of Spider-Man and Falcon. A Marvel team-up cover. This is one that I actually purchased from Glenn recently, Glenn Brunswick. I'm a big G.I. Joe fan. I grew up playing with the G.I. Joe action figures, and I collected G.I. Joe throughout my childhood, comics as well. This one here is actually a Mike Zeck and Phil Zimmerman painted cover. This was obtained through Heritage, and it slipped through the cracks because I couldn't believe I grabbed this at the price that I got it in. Here we have another Craven's Last Hunt page that I bought from Berkey. The story is that I actually bought a page. I was buying a page from Berkey that had all 3 characters, Craven, Black Spidey, and Vermin. But somebody decided to offer Berkey to purchase the entire issue, and I was the only one that had a reservation on that issue, a page of that issue. And so Berkey said, listen, I got a guy that wants to buy the entire issue, but yours is the only one I have reserved. So if I give you a discount, would you let it go? And I said, sure. He says, okay, I'll give you $1,000 off any page I have. And I said, okay, I'll buy this one, but can you give me another $500 off for the Vermin page? And he agreed to it. And I said, whoa, that came out great for me. So it worked out very well. This one here is from Ken Branch. It's a cover recreation based on light pencils. The pencils from John Byrne. Mm-hmm. This is that famous cover by Terry Austin, and I think John Byrne of what's the name of that issue? Can't remember now. It's in the tip of my tongue.
Futures Past.
There you go. Days of Future Past.
Mm-hmm.
This is an Addy Granoff cover. Issue number 1 of Amazing Spider-Man Family. This is another one of my favorite covers in my collection. Derek Robertson, Nightcrawler page. Has a bunch of characters with Nightcrawler smack in the middle and Wolverine. Up here you have the X-Men 2099 cover, which I purchased from the Donnellys at an amazing price through eBay. This is just a print signed by John Romita. This is one of my favorite prints. Here we have another print of a famous cover by John Romita, which I mailed it out to get both John Romita's signature and Stan Lee. Here we have a John Romita strip that I purchased from Berkey years back. Craven's Last Hunt panel recreation, which Mike Zeck and Bob McLeod both penciled and inked for me. This was a page that I got through Heroes, at the Heroes Convention by Mike Zeck. And then Bob McLeod was able to ink it at the Florida SuperCon. Here's another Spider-Man strip by Fred Kidda. It's a pretty good strip. It actually reminds me of Romita's style, so I'm not sure if Romita actually worked on it. I did email Romita at one point, and he says that he thinks he worked on it, but he's not 100% sure, so the world may never know if he worked on it or not. I have another similar strip by Fred Kidda, which Romita thinks he also worked on it. And I also emailed Berkey to see if he had any intel, and pretty much he thought that he recognized Romita's style, but wasn't 100% sure.
That's pretty cool. I think what was it? Anthony sold a strip from that same period with Dr. Doom on it on Dueling Dealers, and I was so disappointed it sold because I would have picked it up. I always loved the Dr. Doom bits, and I did find one at Mike's house, though. I set it aside, so I'm gonna. It's not as nice as that one, though, so I will get one eventually.
Here's one of my favorite pieces in my collection. This is a Russ Manning tryout page for Star Wars. He did a 6-piece tryout page, and I was able to snatch this through Heritage. It's a beautiful page. So if you guys go into my Heritage Calf website, you could look at it closer and really enjoy it. I enjoy it every day. Here we have some Romita sketches. I'm going to see if I could put both of them on screen. This is a John Romita Spider-Man origin with a ghostly image of Spider-Man in the background, and Matt Murdock with a ghostly image of Daredevil in the background. And what happened was I was going to the Baltimore Comic-Con, and I had purchased all, the airfare, the tickets. I rented the vehicle right before the convention. John Romita was still gonna attend. Unfortunately, he canceled like the weekend before or a couple of days before, and I happened to have John Romita Jr.'s email, and he was gracious enough to contact his father. And John Romita told me, "Hey, send me over some books, and I'll draw the Spider-Man sketch for you." And he did that for me, and it came out wonderful. One of my favorite pieces in my collection. Something very similar happened with the Daredevil sketch. He was going to go to Florida SuperCon, and he couldn't attend. And he did the exact same thing for me. It would have been great if I could have gotten an Incredible Hulk with Bruce Banner, would have completed the image. This is a Rodolfo Migliary page, which I actually got from eBay at a very reasonable price. And somebody the other day had a Rodolfo Migliary cover, if I recall, and I actually mentioned how wonderful an artist he was. So this piece here is a Spider-Man pinup by Alex Saviock, one of my favorite artists. This is an homage to, I guess, issue 100 of Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man. This is a published pinup. I can't remember the issue now. This was actually sold to me by Nick Catratis.
Nick Catratis, yeah.
Nick Catratis sold this piece to me, and I was so grateful he sold it to me. This other page here is another Spider-Man pinup. It was actually going to be a cover to issue number 52, but for some reason, it wasn't the final cover that was picked for, I guess, because of the cigar or something. I'm not really sure, but it was like a thumbnail in the issue before announcing the issue. So technically, it's published as a thumbnail. This is the John Romita print, which I believe Dino, the original. And I actually was a low bidder for the original, but I couldn't afford it. But it's one of my favorite pieces by John Romita. So Here I have an actual video game system. I think it was Jordan. I can't remember his last name, the Mahalo guy from Hawaii, who loves classic arcades. So when he mentioned that, I remembered him. Here we have let me see. This is David Michael Beck, published G.I. Joe back cover to issue number 1. And I think it was an alternate cover to issue number 1 as well, which was published, I think, a month afterwards. Here we have a Ray Lago page, which I got through Heritage. A John Romita card strip. As you can see, I also collect action figures, and I display my room with that as well. This page here was sold to me by Michael Galtran. He actually reached out to me and offered it to me. I did not approach him with it, but he reached out to me when it was a pencil page. And when he gave me, his offer to sell it to me, I immediately jumped on it.
Yeah, we just had Michael on.
Yeah. This page here, this is a cover to Elfquest. This was probably my favorite comic book growing up as a kid. This was a paperback cover by Wendy Pini, done in 1983. I purchased it through Heritage, I believe in early 2005. That's how I discovered Heritage. And I put my very best bid in, and I actually won the page. So I was really the art. So I was very happy with that. It's a painted cover. That up here, which I don't know if you could see, is a Kraven's Last Hunt sketch. It's a prelim sketch to the cover, the sex. He did a sketchbook which he had 25 copies that he would sell on eBay, and he would draw an original page, an original sketch on each one of those covers. And I think he only got to 13 of those, so I think he has 12 more to go. This was the one that I won, and I had the choice of selecting the cover that I wanted or the character that I wanted. And I wisely chose Kraven because it was my favorite miniseries of Spider-Man growing up. And he knocked it out of the park. He was able to inscribe my name and my wife's name. I don't know if you could see it as part of the image, heart. And the actual finished product on the actual sketchbook is just amazing. Let me see.
Yeah.
Good.
You've got a really. I'm looking at your calf gallery at the pieces as you pull them up. We should have you on for an interview, Alfredo. I mean, this is, because the images for your camera aren't doing the artwork justice, because the images in your gallery are great.
I'm gonna have to pull them out of these frames and actually scan them better, because I actually became a premium gallery member on January 1st, 2021.
That's true.
And shame on me. I should have become a CAF member much, much earlier. I've been around CAF. Believe it or not, I discovered your site in probably early 2005. It was
you've been a member since 2006. Oh, yeah.
Chuck Costa was the one that convinced me to join, because I wasn't sure if it was a good idea to post my art, but he convinced me to join because he reached out to me when he saw that I won the Kraven's Last Hunt sketch, and he congratulated, and we became friends through email buddies, and every once in a while I reached out to him. And Mike Seck is actually my favorite artist growing up. So yeah. So this next cover here is an Alex Saviock cover, issue number 8, to Spider-Man Adventures. Black Spidey is my favorite version of Spider-Man, so any chance I could get a Black Spidey, I just grab it. This one over here is another Alex Saviock panel page from that book that he created. That was a Spider-Man and Mary Jane, Peril Lives, I think it was called. And I've been dying to buy the Kraven pinup from Alex, but unfortunately he doesn't want to let it go yet. Up here is another John Romita portion of a panel page, which I bought through Anthony way back in the day. This is the other Spidey strip that Fred Kidda did. And Mary Jane looks like it was drawn by John Romita, but I mean, I'm not sure. I've seen other people say that, you know, drawn by Fred Kidda page, drawn by John Romita, but I'm not sure who drew it. So I want to give credit where credit is due. I think John Romita probably had a hand on it because at the time he was editor. So he probably did some of the inking, but who knows? This page here, so trading card art. I can't remember the name of the person that I bought it from. It's Spider-Man with Green Goblin, and they're actually buddies in this, but it caught my eye and I purchased it. This is another John Romita. This is the one that I call the doozy. Sold to me by Mike Berkey.
Yeah, I saw Glenn Brunswick used the word doozy in his email today. It's a trendy word.
Yeah. Well, I think the word is used mostly by Berkey. I heard him use it once, and
oh yeah. No,
so
I'm gonna make him a T-shirt that says doozy on it.
Yeah, this is probably my favorite John Romita strip, which Berkey graciously let go of because I'm a big Kraven's Last Hunt fan. So Kraven is one of my favorite Spidey villains. Here I actually have, and I lit it up, my wall unit, which is full of comics and action figures and all kinds of cool stuff. You have statues. Some of these toys actually belong to some of my nephews or my kids. And as they grow up and don't want them no more, they give them to me and I display them happily. I tell them, hey, when you guys go off to college, I'll take care of all your toys. Don't worry about it. So, yeah, it's pretty much loaded. You know, you have a lot of Star Wars Atticus statues, some Star Wars Kobukiya. You have some Bowen busts, you know. So let's continue on this wall. This is actually the closet. This is the other Rodolfo Migliary commission that I got at a convention. And he couldn't finish it at the convention. So he took it home. I think he's from Argentina. And when he sent it back, it just blew me out of the water. And you actually had this piece, Bill, as I think it was a premium piece for one day on CAF.
Oh, it's featured art?
Yeah, featured art. And it was it got a lot of hits.
It works.
Yeah. This is an Alex Saviock strip art signed by Alex Saviock, Joe Sinnott, and Stan Lee. These are probably the best buys that you could get right now because you got three legends of the industry all in one page. This is a Mike Sec pinup, which he did a bunch of little commissions here and there. And I bought this one along with the Punisher, and they're just fabulous. This is another Spidey Sunday strip, again signed by Alex Savage, Joe Sinnott, and Stan Lee. These here, Ruben will recognize these two.
I sure do.
This is a trading card art. I don't think it was used. Spidey. And here you have the Green Goblin. And I purchased them from Ruben on the last Comic Art Live con that you all had. And as soon as I saw them, I emailed Ruben, hey, I want these. I wasn't going to haggle. I wasn't going to ask for any type of discount. I knew I wanted them because if you look, they fit perfectly in this piece of wall space. and I knew I needed them. So, and John Romita is actually my second favorite artist right behind Mike Zeck. These here are some Star Wars. These were done in a book for kids, and I bought them from Anthony. And I actually reached out to Anthony on one of the Sunday shows that you and him hosted. He did a mini convention at some hotel in Jersey.
Yeah.
And I reached out to him and said, hey, I watched the convention and I like these pieces here. And we worked out a deal and he sold them to me. They were actually 2 pieces in one, but I said, you know what? I'm going to cut them in half and frame them individually. So I actually framed them individually. And they're amazing Star Wars pencil sketches. And they go all the way to the floor, basically, because, you know, just the way I am, I have to use every piece of real estate. This is
You sure do.
more art behind the door to my man cave. This is a Dave Hunt page, double spread UK pinup, and Dave Hunt is one of those unsung heroes of Marvel. He didn't get the credit he deserved, but he did some fabulous art. Hopefully you could see these pages. This is a John Byrne splash. I can't remember the issue right now, but I bought it on eBay back in the day for a phenomenal price. This is a Joe Jusko panel page of Black Panther with Craven as well. And again, I bought it on eBay for a phenomenal price. This is a Mark Bagley Amazing Spider-Man issue 389, I believe. Page number 1. It's a homage to Craven's Last Hunt, which I bought on eBay, on Heritage. And it slipped through the cracks. It was one of those Sunday auctions, and I got it for a phenomenal price. And now, like every other month, somebody's offering me like $2,000 for it, but I'm like, I ain't selling this.
That's a beauty.
This is Ed Mcginnis. This is a cover to his sketchbook, I believe. And I found this page through CAF, actually. I think he had it displayed on CAF. We worked out a deal, and I just had to grab it.
Yeah, he was very active on CAF for a while there.
This is another Luke Ross, another Spidey page by Luke Ross. Spectacular Spider-Man issue 251 or 257. And it's of Craven fighting Spidey. Down here, you have a Marvel, let's see what it's called, the Mighty World of Marvel, the Incredible Hulk and Fury. And there's some Daredevil and Nick Fury there in the bottom. This is a UK cover, which I bought from Berkey. A Spidey Super Story page by Jim Mooney, I believe. This panel page here, I can't remember the artist right now, but I bought this on eBay back in the day for probably under $30 or something of that nature. So right up here, we have another Mike Zeck pinup of Black Spidey. This is one of my favorite pieces. This one here is a John Romita, Spidey and Craven. And Craven is actually jumping out of the page. And I reached out to one of the cast members, made him an offer he couldn't refuse. And he took that offer and I ran with it. And he's emailed me back.
Killer lower panel.
Yeah. He emailed me back years later. Hey, are you selling it? Nope, I'm not selling it. I'm sorry.
Wow.
This piece here is an homage to Amazing Spider-Man issue 100, as well as to my buddy Michael Galtran.
Yeah, we were just looking at a similar artwork to that Tuesday night. That's great.
Correct. So Michael Galtran, I run into him at Megacon. And you know, we at Megacon we hung out and you know we talked. You know, he guided me because he's been in the hobby longer than I have, and I really like the idea of the John Romita with all the head sketches by different artists. And so, you know, I asked him, hey, do you mind if I do one of Black Spidey? And he was cool with it because I didn't want to like just steal his idea and run with it. So I asked him, and he said he was cool with it, and I did it. And it's the only jam piece I've ever done. It took about three years to complete. It was a lot of fun, but a lot of work. And I don't think I'll ever do another jam piece again. So here we have a Spider-Man sketch. This is on, what's that paper that he uses? Vellum, I believe, which I bought on eBay years ago. And this image is it's been used in multiple places. So over here, you're not going to be able to see it very good. There's too much glare. Let me see if I could do something about the glare. The lighting here is poor, but this is actually a Joe Jusko corner box art of Black Spidey. That's you can't see it but look at my calf, guys, and you'll love it. It's amazing. And I'm a Black Spidey guy, so you know, I reached out to Joe, and he agreed to do this one and add it to the collection. And I happily, you know, was happy to pay for it. A few days later, or a few months later, is it Rich Cirillo that collects them as well? Because I think I saw him from Rich Cirillo's website. Rich was selling the Spider-Man. And if I would have had the money, I would have bought it because it would have been great to have both of them. So this is Elfquest Cutter, the main character of Elfquest by Wendy Penny. And I'm sorry about the glare and the poor lighting conditions, but there is no lighting here apparently the way I have the room set up. And then up here, I have more art and statues. So here, this is another one of my favorite pieces. This is another Dave Hunt UK pinup of Spidey fighting the Lizard from 1976, if I'm not mistaken. And again, Dave Hunt is one of my favorite artists. I have probably 3 or 4 pieces by him. Actually, I have 4 now that I'm thinking about it. The one next to it, right over here, is a cover recreation for a UK cover. I can't remember the name of it, but it's a recreation of Amazing Spider-Man. Up here, we have a Mike Zeck Spider-Man with Venom, the Hobgoblin, Mary Jane, and Scorpion. And this was all done by Mike Zeck. It was a poster for a toothpaste promotion, and this was sold to me by Anthony. We worked out a deal, and I had to buy it. This one over here is a Ken Branch pinup. It's the centerfold to his to a sketchbook that he has. And over here, I have a bunch of colored con sketches by Alex Saviock. You have Kingpin, Daredevil, Spidey, Tombstone, the Lizard, Scorpion, and Kraven. And over here, I squeezed in these 2 pieces of art. It's a Mike Mayhew Star Wars pencil panel page. Luke Skywalker versus Sergeant Creel, I believe his name is, with lightsabers ignited. It's a fantastic page. This is a page of Night Stalkers, which you actually featured on one of your eBay, one of the weekly reports that you do. This was purchased on eBay, and I got a phenomenal price for it. It was on sale for $3,000. I believe I paid $17.50. So I made my offer. The guy took it, and I was happy to run with it. And that's basically. Let me see if I could.
And you've got movie chairs.
Oh yeah, I have movie. This is like the man cave. Oh, you can't forget.
It really is.
This is a refrigerator.
And the fridge.
Mini refrigerator. You know, I have some whiskey. You know, you have Darth
Sure.
Vader holding some booze. So, you know, this is like the place I hang out. I hang out in, you know, and I enjoy watching your show from here all the time. So I want to thank you for allowing me to show off my man cave, you know. As you can
No,
see,
this is great. I should have invited you on the show earlier. This would have been fun. This is great.
Anyways, I'm happy I was able to share. And Ruben and the other two guests.
Absolutely. No, this
Well
was fun.
done.
See, I always had this weird feeling one night we were going to do this, where I would just throw it out there to the chat and see what would happen, and it worked. I can't believe it. This is great.
Well, I'm glad it worked out, and that, you know, you all enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed. I enjoy listening to all the guests every, you know, week in, week out. This has been therapy for a bunch of us. You know, we all miss the conventions. And I always tell my wife, I gotta be around this stuff, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when I met my wife, she knew I was into this stuff. And she would buy me like Spider-Man shirts and stuff, and I go, I gotta keep this lady because, you know, she supports my habit, and it's an expensive habit. You know, you always have to remember that your family comes first, and you have to take them to nice vacations, you know, Disney trips, etc. You know, don't let them suffer because of this habit. You know, so
right.
you do the best you can with you know, the extra income that you have to enjoy your habit, but you always have to put your family first. So, you know, I've been blessed in my profession, and you know.
Where are you located?
You know what?
Are you in Florida?
I live in Miami, Florida.
Okay.
And I'm gonna tell you my origin story since I'm here, and that's one of the things that you guys do. So I've been a collector since a small child. The first movie that I remember going to with my parents was Star Wars: A New Hope, and that's what did it all for me. I've been collecting, you know, action figures, Star Wars, G.I. Joe, and like in early 1980, 1981, I discovered comics. I started buying comics. I discovered Elfquest. Started buying the Elfquest through the Marvel run. I bought all the back issues of Warp Graphics that Wendy and Richard had done, the big size comics. Thank God my parents didn't know what I was reading, because some of those Elfquest comics, you know, it's really not for kids, but you know, they weren't checking in on me on the con. They thought it was for kids, but those are more PG-13 comics. So comics, I never stopped collecting. I collected them all through high school. When girls discovered me, not the other way around, I collected them as well. Chasing after me. And you know, I didn't know how I was the shyest guy in the world. Thank God that, you know, I didn't have too much trouble, because they would you know, they would you know, chase after me, and I continued my comic habits. I met my wife in 1997, right after I graduated college. Sorry, graduated college, civil engineering, 1997, and she saw how much into it I was. She would buy me shirts and she would give me gifts related to this hobby. We got married in 99. And, you know, I had a 1-bedroom apartment, which, you know, we outgrew because when we got married, we got pregnant right away. My youngest daughter was born March 28th, 2001. And then I believe it was late December 2000 or early January 2001 that I saw the movie Unbreakable. And as soon as, you know, it started with M. Night Shyamalan talking about that the average comic collector has, I think, 3,000 plus comics. in their collection. And as the movie started going on, and you see Samuel L. Jackson's character develop, and that he was a comic nerd, and he had a store. If I recall, the name of the store was Limited Edition. And that's when I discovered original art. It was in that movie.
Wow.
And that's what did it. That's what did it all. I'm like, wait a minute, you could buy original art? So
yeah, when I saw that, I was like, oh, the hobby. I don't know where the hobby's going to go after that, because I'd only been collecting for a few years, and I was kind of happy it was a secret. And then they show that in the movie, and I'm like, oh shit, now we're in trouble.
Yeah.
So it was the movie Unbreakable that broke me into this hobby. Soon thereafter, I bought, I think, the Elfquest cutter sketch by Wendy Penny on eBay. I think I bought it in June 2001. My daughter was 3 months old. And, it was a slow process because we were saving up for a house, this house that I'm living in now. And I knew I wanted a man cave. I said, I have to have a man cave to display all this stuff. So, I saved for like 3 years, and we bought a 5-bedroom, 3-bathroom house. And I just said, I'm going to have a room just for me, babe. And she was, okay, that's fine. Do what you do. But that's, you could only display your art in that one room. You can't go around the rest of the house.
That's why every inch of the walls are solid.
Yeah.
So, she took it to heart because she doesn't let me. So I do have a bunch of other art stored in the closet. And every once in a while, I might switch out a page here and there. But I display the best of the best, And that's my origin story. So
that's great.
Very good.
That's funny because I've always wondered. No one's ever mentioned that film before, but I had to believe that had to have turned some people on to at least making them aware of being held by original art. But no, and how many of these have we done? I think we've done at least 100 interviews so far, and you're the first person to mention Unbreakable. So that's awesome.
One of the greatest trilogies of all time. So I owe it all to Mr. Glass.
Yeah.
Alfredo, just to be clear, you literally had never even had an awareness of original art until that movie?
Believe it or not, I went to a convention in '93.
Right.
And I had gone to many conventions that were more comic related. There was no art, at a Holiday Inn or something. But I went to a convention here in Miami, in which I think it was '93, could have been '92. And the comic that was hot right off the stands was Infinity Gauntlet, issue number 1. And George Paris was at that convention, and I got to meet George Paris for the first time. Actually, he was the only artist I had ever met, and I think I bought like six comics just to have him sign of issue number 1 in that convention. And it was almost all, comic related. There was no original art. There was this one little old guy at a corner doing sketches of, I think, the Green Lantern. But it didn't catch my eye. I remember seeing him doing sketches and selling them for like $20 a page, and I do not know who this guy was.
An old man?
He was an older man. He must
have been Marty Nodell.
It could have been Marty Lodell. He must have been in his late 70s.
Oh gosh, it must have been, yeah.
Yeah, and he was at the convention at a corner all by himself. Nobody went to look at him. And I was there for comics more than anything, and I was entering college, so I didn't have much money. And I did get to meet George Paris, and I did hang around that convention for a few hours. But I didn't go to a convention again until, I believe, 2005, which was Megacon.
And Megacon isn't in Miami, correct?
No, that's in Orlando. It's probably here at the Southeast Coast. It's probably the biggest convention in the Southeast Coast.
I've always wanted to go to that one, yeah.
And it's a very popular convention because you have 8 theme parks there. So there's other things to do, not just go to a convention. So, I've been to a couple of out-of-state conventions. Baltimore in 2008 was the first one that I went to just to meet John Romita. And unfortunately, I haven't been able to meet him yet. And I think that ship has sailed, unfortunately. Hopefully, maybe one day he might make an appearance someday. But, he's one of the last living legends of this industry. And I regret not meeting him, but every once in a while I do email him for his birthday. Him and Virginia, his wife, and they're very gracious. They bless me with a couple of those 2 fabulous sketches that I have, which I enjoy looking at every day. So.
Yeah, they just had a birthday too.
Yes,
it was a couple months ago, or maybe a month and a half ago. Yeah.
How old is Romita? 91 or 90?
No, John Romita, I think, was born in January, so he just turned 90. No, 91. Yeah. He was born in 1930, I think.
Okay.
So he was 91. I mean, I think he was born in 1930, but I would have to check that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna plug in my Surface Pro. If not, I'm gonna run out of battery. Let me see if I find the plug.
Yeah, I love that Manning Star Wars page you have, man. Your whole room is awesome, but that one caught my eye.
But Manning eventually did Star Wars. I mean, that's why I'm confused about the tryout. I didn't know about that because, of course, he had cancer when he was working on Star Wars, and that's when people like Rick Hoberg and Dave Stevens did a bunch of stuff on that strip as well.
Yep, I believe he passed in '81. He's 52.
Yeah. But I mean, Dave Stevens really got his start working for Manning. A lot of those guys did. Bill Stout, Bill Ray, I think, was an anchor for him way back when. And
so that Russ Manning tryout page, that was actually not published. It is published now. It's published in the Star Wars strip collection. There's 3 books, so it's featured there. But it wasn't part of the original newspaper run. This was just a tryout. He did like 6 of them, and I was lucky enough to snatch one of them.
Wow.
Yeah, I just picked up this.
That's one of all of them because I put all my checkles on that one. So.
Oh, nice.
This thing is the size of 5 dailies. It's humongous by Alcala. And Alcala, he did a Conan strip in early 1980, and then he did 2 Star Wars strips in late 1980 and early 81. And then he went on to He-Man fame. And if anybody collects He-Man like I do, like he is revered in the He-Man universe. Like even all the toys coming out now are all based on Alcala. And we were talking Conan earlier, like he's probably my favorite Conan artist as an inker, and as him and Chan both are pretty high up there in my book. But
have you followed since you're interested in his Conan? Have you followed his Voltar strip?
I've seen some of the stuff, and it is just beautiful. But I've never seen any for sale. But the artwork is amazing. Yeah, and then I got my couple of John Buscema Conan. This is from Beyond the Black River, issue 27.
Oh, nice.
The Zuniga inks on that?
Yep, Tony DeZuniga. It's got the dog Slasher on there, which I'm a huge dog lover.
I always loved it when he wore that helmet.
Oh, yeah. I've got several pages with the helmet. And then this is a later page that John did with Bob Camp. You can see got some women on there.
Oh, yeah.
Which is always a plus.
Did you say Bob Camp?
Yeah, Bob Camp, actually.
The Ren and Stimpy guy.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know him? That's so funny that you know him, Rich, as the Ren and Stimpy guy. I'm like, I'm like, what?
I know a lot of those guys from Ren and Stimpy. They started in comic books. Like Bill Ray did a lot of Marvel inking before he went into animation.
Yeah.
And now he's doing animation all the time. Like he just did that Robert Valley episode for the new Love, Death, and Robots series that's on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
I just find it great that the different perspectives, your perspective, because of that's the industry you come from, Rich, right?
Well, I didn't get into it that much in my interview because I just kind of slipped my mind. But my attraction to people like Jeff Darrow and Dave Stevens were that they were animation layout guys first.
Right.
Like that's a lot of people don't even know that part of their career. But
that's right.
In the late 70s, early 80s, those guys were hopping from Hanna-Barbera to Filmation to wherever. I mean, you imagine Jeff Darrow as a prop designer for some horrible Hanna-Barbera show. It boggles the mind, but a lot of those guys got their starts. And there's a real mix, especially at San Diego Con, because those animation guys all go down to the show every year. So you got guys like Rick Hoberg and Will Munio, the Will Muganot. I don't even know how to pronounce his last
Will
name.
Mignot?
Yeah,
Yeah,
something like that.
Mugino, yeah. I've got a few pieces by him.
Yeah, he's a great artist. So, but a lot of those guys kind of, I think they're not going to tell you that to your face, but I mean, they made more money in animation than they ever did in comic books.
Yeah,
I mean,
everybody knows that, right? Like a lot of
a
lot of the comic guys that were coming in like in the 90s, there's quite a few of them in the 90s, and they came in for a cup of coffee and they kind of took off to go do animation,
Yeah. I mean, Dave knew all those guys from animation first before he went into the other thing. Like he was working with Russ Heath on shows.
Right.
So that's just that's crazy when I think about it.
Yeah.
And back in the day, it was into advertising, right? A lot of those, even John went in and out of advertising.
Jack Kirby was a huge, and Alex Toth. I mean, Jeff Darrow and Dave would tell you that the big shots were always working upstairs at Hanna-Barbera. And that was Alex Toth and, Doug Wildey and people like that. So,
Any more art there, Drew?
Yeah, I actually, it's kind of funny, Alfredo. I started, my first con was in 2005, and I started collecting art in 2006. And I've got a comic book room too, but unfortunately, I'm not mobile right now. I can't go up there. But I've got 3 pinball machines, a display case, tons of toys, He-Man, a lot of the He-Man stuff.
Have you got the old pinball machines or the new ones?
Yeah, all 3 from the 70s, the EM electric.
I've got 2 myself.
Yeah, I won't buy anything from the late 70s or 80s just because those computers are so iffy.
So which are the 3 that you have? Which are the 3?
I've got an El Toro. I've got a Top Score, which is a bowling theme, and then I have a Superstar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, as a kid, I was, I would play the classic arcade. So that mini arcade that I have here has, I think, about 200 games. It has Galaga, Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man, 1941, 1942, Burger Time, Donkey Kong, all the classics, Frogger. And, I had to have this little mini arcade. Every once in a while, I just, spend a couple of hours playing it.
It's not unusual among comic book collectors and OA collectors to have that stuff,
And it's a nostalgia.
About wanting to stay a kid forever, I guess. I don't know.
I used to have a JAMA cabinet that I swapped the boards out in all the time. I had the classic Spider-Man pinball machine, the Hulk, the Doctor Who from the mid '80s, and I only kept one. It's a Super Mario half wide or half deep machine because the kids liked playing it. But I ended up just selling them all because I couldn't keep fixing them. The Spider-Man was always broken, and the Hulk was always a problem, and so
I've got Space Odyssey and Spin Out as my Spin Out is totally crapped out. The spinner is sort of one of the leaves is off.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I haven't played that one in a year because it's down. But.
Yeah, Bill, I had the 1980 Spider-Man Gottlieb as well.
Yeah,
it was nothing but problems. I ended up. It was a weird story. The guy who bought it from me, he paid me more money than I paid for it, and he had it shipped from Michigan to California on his dime. They came out with naval shipping, wrapped it all up, sent it to California. So I'm sure whoever bought it gave it the royal treatment. But yeah, that was a beautiful machine. I think all John Romita art.
It was.
You're in Michigan, Drew?
Yep.
Oh, okay. What part of Michigan?
Mid Michigan, up by Lansing.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Go Blue.
Yeah. I'm not a huge sports person, but I do root for the Michigan teams.
Know what I was saying.
I did go to.
Here it's go green, go white, but yeah.
Did you ever go to the Motor City Comic Con then, or?
All the time. That was my first con in 2005, and
I went there once. It was a good show.
They're going to do it again this year. They just said in October, so they're going to 2-day show.
Nice.
Yeah, I tried to get to Chicago's only about a 4-hour drive from here, so I tried to do this C2E2 or Wizard World or Ace, which those are all really nice.
Yeah, before Fan Expo buys them all up. It's like
before COVID, Ace was getting the talent, man. Me and my wife likes the celebrities, so do I. But we met Chris Hemsworth, got a picture. Chris Evans, Elizabeth Olsen. They've just had tremendous talent there, like A-listers. So,
Drew, is the Motor City show is that going to be in Novi again?
Yeah, at the Suburban Showcase. It's changed names a few times. I believe currently it's the Suburban Showcase Financial Center.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I used to enjoy going there in the late '90s, early 2000s. Yeah.
Yeah, they used to do it twice a year, and then for like the last 15 years, it's been a once a year show. But they put more money into the one show, try to get the bigger draws.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I did Mid Ohio a couple years before that got bought out, and I've always wanted to do San Diego or New York, but just it would require flight and a lot of money.
That show is not the same anymore, I don't think. I mean, even when I went in 2003, it was getting to be too much. It was all movie type thing, and the comics were getting pushed out. And, like, I know Bud Plant doesn't even go to that one anymore, so that's like...
Well, that's been a few years, though, already. Like, quite.
Oh, I know, yeah.
With Bud, yeah. Well, I think New York is still a really great show. I mean, at the end of the day, if you want, just because they have all the artists in a separate building, I think that if you're going to go to a big one, that's the one to go to, because San Diego doesn't really. I mean, the Artist Alley section just has gotten smaller and smaller, and most of the big artists are either getting their own booths or.
I always want to go to the comic centric shows. Like I've always heard that Heroes Con is like the last.
Yeah,
the really great.
Too.
Yeah,
I always wanted to go that one. I never got a chance.
No, neither did I. Yeah.
I haven't had a chance to go to San Diego. I've tried a couple of times, but I find it that they're not very family friendly.
Right.
I think I mentioned in one of the shows, I think it was Mike. No, it was before that I tried to purchase tickets, and they won't sell me 4 tickets at a time.
Yeah.
You have to open 4 different email accounts for my child that at the time I think she was 12. My other child was 17. My wife and me, and hope you all get selected to be able to buy 4 tickets. So it wasn't family friendly. So, but that's on the bucket list. Maybe one day I'll go, just me and the wife.
Yeah.
And New York is also on that bucket list. So I've been wanting to go to New York. So.
Well,
Is it really expensive to go to the New York show? Like getting where would you stay? Like, wouldn't it be super expensive to stay?
No, it's kind of the opposite, in my opinion. Really? Yeah, you can. The hotels are cheap. San Diego, you're going to be lucky to get a hotel room for.
I always kind of went to the periphery of
like $450 or $550 a night. But in New York, you can still get a hotel room for half that, or you can rent. A lot of times early on, we would actually just rent a place for a week, and it was cheaper. You could almost get it for like $250 a night, and you might be walking 10 blocks or something. But there isn't a hotel right at the convention site at the Javits, so you're going to walk from anywhere. But airfare into New York is cheaper, regardless of which airport you fly into. And San Diego, it's always going to be $500-600 no matter where you're going to.
Open up, it's close enough that I could drive down. But
right, and then again in San Diego, I mean, all the restaurants are expensive. So I find myself spending at least twice as much to go to San Diego for the same amount of time as it would be to go to New York.
Yeah. Do all the original art dealers that you would see at the San Diego show, did they end up going to the New York show? I know Albert would be there, obviously, and all the New Jersey guys, but
right. I mean, it's about the same though. At the end of the day, I mean, Mitch doesn't set up in New York, for instance, but he's sets up in San Diego.
That's weird. Yeah.
For whatever reason,
because he's from New York, correct?
Right, exactly. Or New Jersey. I'm not sure where exactly he's out of, but yeah, he's right in it.
A couple of times, Bill, though, right? Like in the last few years.
No, he did. Well, remember, Mitch would always get he was always like sitting on the corner of somebody's space or something in the main area. He wasn't really. I mean, and I'm not trying to say anything disrespectful about Mitch at all, but I mean, I remember that he was like, if he could get a little space, he would set up.
He was piggybacking more or less. You're saying?
Maybe it was. It was a little weirder than that. I can't remember exactly the deal. I just remember him being on a corner. And it wasn't like a half booth or nothing, but no, it's I'd say it's about the same. You figure Bashara goes to both shows, and he's on the East Coast, and I mean, heck, he has the LA show, and he's on the East Coast, so that's kind of odd. But I don't know.
Don't forget though, with Bashara, it's a little bit different because he also deals in high-end comic books as well, so it's worth going to San Diego, I would think. You know what I mean? Yeah,
but the main difference really for me is, and Colin sort of mentioned it, that you get a very different international crowd, that you wouldn't normally get. I mean, granted, you get a lot of international artists in San Diego, but I don't know. I feel like there's a lot more artists willing to go to New York City if they're from Europe, and I think that's really the bigger difference. The dealers are always going to be about the same. You're always going to have Anthony and Albert and Scott Eater and generally Berkey with Glenn and Will set up beside him, and Mark Hay gets he'll be at San Diego and New York. And, you know, things have evolved. Like in New York, you'll find Jason from Essential Sequential and Mark Hay. They're set up in Artist Alley with, you know, Jason has like 2 rows and 2 sections, all with his repped artists with the Essential Sequential banner. So it's almost literally like he's got, you know, I mean, it's literally like a dozen booths essentially, all in Artist Alley. And Mark will have half of a row, so he'll have like eight guys. So it's a very different vibe, and nothing like what you would ever get in San Diego, where, you know, you're really limited to your booth space. And they very much cater to art reps and the artists and allow them, you know, like Felix, I think, has 3 or 4 booths or artist tables in a row, but then when you put one similar banner across the back, it's like having the biggest booth you could never purchase on the floor. So Artist Alley in New York is very, very unique in that way, and it's, you know, kind of really what I think makes it kind of cool, just for that reason. And being in New York, you just get a lot more artists are there, and they tend to be a lot more accessible and have a lot more fun. You know, they're not traveling; they're probably just driving from home. So yeah, I think it's a show you got to get to at least once for those reasons.
Yeah, I would say that for both of them though. Like, even as much as I have no desire to ever go back to the San Diego Comic-Con again, I would say to somebody like Alfredo, oh, for sure, you have to experience it at least once. You know
Oh yeah.
Just to say you did it. Just to say you did it.
At least once. I want to go when it's in full swing. I know it's become, you know, more Hollywood than anything now. And the other day we were talking about our hobby blow up. And I think there's a direct correlation between the movies, the shows, exposing these heroes that we all enjoy to the entire, you know, world, and that's why our hobby has exploded. Still behind comics, because you can buy multiple comics. You know, they mass reproduce them, but this is one of a kind. But, you know, I think it was Jack Kirby that once told Romita and I'm not sure who the other person was, that the art was someday going to be on museums, and he was right. You know, I think Chuck Costas did like a little show I think a few years ago, displaying some of his Mike Zeck art. He has the most wonderful Zeck collection in the world. I envy his collection, and he did a collection in LA, I believe, right before the weekend before San Diego Con. And it was there was another sketchbook that he published. I think he produced through Mike Zeck, where Mike was also offering some sketches. I was able to grab one of those as well. Because Mike Zeck was everywhere when I was growing up in the 80s. You know, he's the first artist that I realized, hey, who's drawing these comics? And it was Mike, because, you know, I collected G.I. Joe. That was like one of my favorite comics growing up as a kid. The Kraven's Last Hunt was phenomenal. It's like, that's pure nostalgia for me. I wish I could own one of the covers. That would be my holy grail, which I'll never achieve, because I could never pay. I don't know. I think they're going now. I think the last one sold for $50,000. I can't imagine paying $50,000.
Good Lord.
A piece of art. I mean, I just can't. And I think the other day a panel page sold in Heritage for $24. It was displayed by Bill right after Heritage a few days later. And just a week later, it flipped on Heritage for $48,000. I couldn't believe it. It was insane. It's like, how is this possible?
I know it's happening every day. But when I had Chuck Costas on for that Gerhard sale, he and I talked a bit after the show, and I think he's planning on doing some exhibit with Mike Zeck in the near future, maybe later this year or early 2022. So there might be some interesting opportunities coming up with Mike. That,
it would be good if you could interview Chuck on CAF. He would be a wonderful.
Yeah, we talked about it. It's just a question of he's pretty busy, because he does a lot of work with Prop Store now, and so yeah. But we did talk about it. I hope to have him on the show sometime this summer.
Another guy that I would like to see is Dave Mandel. If you could invite Dave Mandel, because he has the most magnificent Star Wars collection. And
I agree. I've actually not asked Dave yet. I'm sure he would. I mean, he and I, we've emailed enough, and I've seen him, enough shows. I think he would do it. I do have Scott Williams. Thanks to Dino, as I mentioned in the email today. Dino helped me. I was just, I was fielding everybody coming in asking me to do interviews, and Scott was always on my list. I've been asked to interview Scott for a long time, and so Dino stepped up, did the introduction, and so we'll have Scott on the show next Thursday.
That one's going to be unbelievable.
Yeah, I can't
know
wait
he's
for that.
He's been collecting for years and years and years.
Will you promise to try to keep it to like Scott Williams as a collector?
Oh yeah,
right.
That's
a lot of people are going to be asking questions about like his inking and all that. And I want to know about him as a collector.
We can save that for a panel on the show. But no. I only want to talk to him about his experience as a collector. I mean, because no one loves art like Scott. I mean, you go and you check out his gallery, you know what's in his collection. He's got such an appreciation.
Yeah, he's got a real love for it. Yeah.
Yeah. So no, I'm only good.
I've watched the Felix art one that they did with him, and it's the Brian Ballin Sergeant Rock is like,
I know,
unbelievable.
I love how he's active on the CGC chat forums too. He posts regularly.
Mm-hmm.
Great guy. Yeah, Bill, it'd be great to get like 5 guys that collect Spider-Man art and put them all in the same panel, or like 5 guys that collect Conan art. That'd be neat.
It would. Hey, I want to expand on the way we're doing the show. It's I love the one-on-one interviews, but I want to have more themed discussions, like when we did the Crazy Cat discussion with a group of collectors I really would never have probably ever gotten on screen with. And we're doing on June 1st, I think it's kind of more of a sci-fi painter kind of or fantasy art type of show, because it kind of coincides with another art show that's going on. So I want to mix it up, do themes, do, like you're saying, Spider-Man, just bring in different collectors. I want to do a show on animation art, really, just to kind of break things up so that we're not always doing the same things. I mean, it's about time to kind of expand the show a little bit. And I think when we came up with the concept for the collector show on Sunday, we want to kind of keep things mixed up a little bit and adding a little bit of variety to our weekly shows. It's just that at some point I'm hoping, as Dino knows, Dino's going to help me. I'm taking a small vacation in June. He's going to take over at least one interview for me on a Tuesday. And at some point, it'd be really nice to just to mix in people. I always felt, even with Dueling Dealers, when I started that, my intent was not to be the host every single night. I mean, I think I'm stuck with it now because I'm part of the show, but it was, I was like, I could have Will sit in for me sometimes, so I don't have to, because I just felt like I couldn't do it all the time. And I think as the show evolves and we start adding in programming, it would be great to have guest hosts come in and moderate some of those chats that in some ways I'm not qualified for. I mean, I have a certain segment of artists and creators that I really like, and in some instances I don't think I need to be here other than to turn the broadcast on and turn it off. So I'm really open to the idea of people coming in and pitch me on a show night. Like, hey, I want to get these 4 guys together and I want to talk about this. Let's do it. Ruben, you could probably do one a month. I know it. So that's all. I mean, and I'll be the fly on the wall. I'll have just as much fun watching and helping people show the artwork during the show than I would be being the guy on screen, working it. Because you guys know, CAF was never about me. This wasn't meant to be about me. I'd much rather, I'm happier in the background flipping the switches than being up in front of everybody. So definitely pitch me on ideas. I'd love to do different things with these shows and just keep everybody engaged. I mean, I still think we're going to ease our way back into conventions and the in-person stuff. So, and this is going to stay. I mean, we're going to keep doing these even after shows come back. So it's not going anywhere.
I was reading through the chat and James Siegel asked the question, if I frame myself, and actually every single piece with the exception of one, I framed myself either through frames I've purchased through Michaels, but I discovered a store, an online store called Frames by Mail. I've plugged it in here a couple of times, which you get to purchase your mats custom size and the frames custom size, and that's how I've been able to frame all these small little pieces and the majority of the art, and it's very cheap, much cheaper than going to a professional framer. So The one piece that I didn't frame myself was the Dave Hunt piece, which was on top of the wall unit, which was the Lizard versus Spidey. And the only reason I didn't frame that is because it came framed. I purchased it on eBay from, I think it was the nephew of Dave Hunt, who had it for sale on eBay, and I just snatched it right up. So yeah, James, and everybody, that's a tip that I can give you. Try to frame yourself, and you'll save money.
I want to add to that too. I discovered that there's these things called sign holders, and a lot of businesses will use them to put like the fire escape plan in. They're just a piece of acrylic plastic, and if you take with your art that's in bag and a board, you can just slide it in and out. They come in 11 by 17. You get them horizontal and vertical. And I wish I could take my computer up and show you the room, but like they're the easiest thing for switching art in and out. And they're only like $15-20 for each thing. And it changed the way I display art. Just easy in, easy out. And another thing I'll do for my oversized art is they got these things just at the dollar store that for poster clips, and it's basically just like a clip you can clip on the top and it has a little hook. And I'll take my hard cases and I'll clip it to the top of them and just have it hanging on the wall just in the case. There's just some really creative ways to frame your art. I mean, like you were saying, but sign holders, check them out. They're fantastic. 11 by 17.
That's a good reference as well.
I saw that my man cave rivals Dino, and when I saw that video that Dino did, I'm like, wow, this guy beat me. He actually has tweet. And I've thought about, I've run out of real estate. Should I put something on the ceiling? But I don't know. I don't think it would look good. But
I don't think you want to do that. You'd cover up the only vents you have in that room if you put anything on the ceiling.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Alfredo, your show and tell you just did tonight, it rivaled Dino's, man.
Well,
that was sweet.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. I hope everybody enjoyed it.
I think I saw a lot of comments when you were doing it. Yeah, man.
Oh yeah, no, this was great. This was great for an impromptu show. You couldn't ask for more.
Well, there you go. It all worked out.
Yes. Definitely. All right. Well, listen, I actually have to do the test stuff for that drink and draw that's going to happen tomorrow night because they haven't been able to kind of publish how they're going to broadcast it. So I have to hop into like a Zoom call and at least help them figure out how to get it from Zoom onto my YouTube.
Is it the same group from the drink and draw on YouTube? Like, is it John?
Oh, it's a different. Well, the same people that ran the drink and draw for the Baltimore show in the fall is sort of responsible for this one. I know Walt Simonson's going to be in on it,
okay.
and Dan Baritone, a few other people, but no, this is something that is the Hero Initiative has sponsored it, so they're drawing on, I think, Hero Initiative bar, coasters or beer coasters, of thing, drink coasters, and so and everything was pre-bought. You don't know, which artists you're going to get, and you can kind of pick some of the titles. So it'll be fun, something to do, and they're going to use it as a way. They wanted to do it on Friday night to kind of kick off the show for me and get some extra PR for Comic Art Live. And I just felt, why not? It's something to go along with the show, adds a little bit of something different that I'm not going to be able to provide on my own. Mm-hmm. So, I'm willing to try anything. Like I said, I'm very experimental on what we're doing with the show, with the Comic Art Con show, Ruben.
CAFCon, you mean CAFCon?
It was called CAFCon when I did it in March when Dan Potic came to me and wanted to do something because Comic Art Con wasn't happening. He called it CAFCon, and I just said, well, that's how I came, and then I came up with the concept for how to do that show in March, and it went off really well. But I was already had already started talking with the art reps in particular, and we had already started formulating what was going to become Comic Art Live, and at the time we were building it as a standalone site, but I just ran out of time and just said, all right, we're going to wedge it into CAF, and it's just kind of stuck there since then. But that was the whole idea. I wanted Comic Art Live to kind of be owned by everybody, right? The people I represent on the advertising side, from everybody on the collector side. I wanted it to be something really more nebulous than being a part of CAF. I mean, it's just, that's how I wanted it. I wanted it to feel like everybody owned it in their own way. And, and
if I can interject just for a sec, the thing about it is, like, I I think a lot of people feel the same way. Even if you had separated it out to its own site, I feel most people would still look at it as, well, it's under the umbrella of CAF. It's still owned by CAF. CAF is the granddaddy, and that would still be the offshoot of CAF. So, and everybody knows you're Mr.
Right.
CAF,
Oh, I know. Right.
So CAFCon.
I know, but see, the way I look at it, because I'm I own CAF. I work with 30 art dealers on their websites. And so for me, Collectors Network is the name of my business, and Collectors Network owns CAF. Collectors Network works with 30 plus dealers. And I do other things in the collectibles area. So for me, then I have this thing called Comic Art Live that I want to have. And I feel like it's really a part of everything I'm doing, because, it really was, I was talking with Mark Hay about, well, how are we going to help you, with your business when you're not going to be able to get out in front of cons, and you're not going to be able to go out and get your artists in front of people, and you're not going to be able to get commissions. So I was speaking to the reps in a very different way when everything started happening at the beginning of the pandemic. And, I was, and even with collectors, like I was thinking, well, how am I going to keep the collectors entertained throughout all this and engaged in a different way? And so that's why I in my mind, I view it as something sitting right beside comic art fans, but it's right beside all the other work that I do, because it's an extension of the marketing ideas that I do, but also just being you're a client on the website side of things as a dealer. So I view it as something, it's different but complementary. And then it expanded into all these chats that we do too. So I don't know. I haven't really put my arms around it, but for me, I feel like Comic Art Live is a community-owned thing. I don't want, it's not like something that I could ever look at and say, this is an asset that I could sell one day to somebody with a lot of money that just wants to, sell things to the hobby. No, I don't view it that way. I view the show as a convention and the channel as something that we all own. And we all should take pride in. It's like I mentioned the comment that Dino said to those. I feel like, said to the other amateur dueling dealers that night, that I really feel that that's what this is really all about. It's not a chip that I could ever use in any way, because trust me, on CAF side of thing, I've been offered to sell CAF numerous times. Nobody's ever been super serious, I don't think, but that kind of thing, it could happen one day. But even if that ever did happen, I think we all have this as something that can stand alone and be owned by us all, and and nobody can change that, because it's not something that's not a part of. It's not compartmentalized in CAF, and so that's all. I mean, when that was my approach to it when I was speaking with the dealers. I was just saying that I really wanted I wanted everybody to feel ownership over it, because say with Mark had to want to. If I said this is all CAFs, he's not going to always want to just bring all of his artists into a show to offer, because it could be taken away from him one day. And I don't want anybody to ever feel that I'm doing this for that reason. I'm not. I'm doing it because I enjoy the experience of working with everybody, and I wanted everybody to feel ownership of it. So that's all.
I get your thinking, right? I guess I just say it because
it's easy to say. Well, it's in CAF. I mean, I completely get it.
By the way, just so you know.
I know.
Yeah, it's not like everybody I talk to. They're like, yeah. Are you setting up a CAFCon? Yes, I am, and keep calling it that because I love it. CAFCon.
Yeah, I don't care what they call it. It's that's all. But I'm just letting you know that's my viewpoint on it, and I really can't change my view on it, because I really want everybody who participates in it, especially from the exhibitor side, to just feel like it's owned by all of us, and it's a benefit to premium members of CAF in many, many ways, because they're the only ones that can exhibit, and they get all the preferential treatment for to get into the show early. But
read the last 4 comments though, Bill, just for the heck of it.
I haven't even scrolled down in a while.
Oh, okay, just read the last 4.
CalCon, I guess you called CAF. I know everybody. I know what everybody wants, but the moment I call it CAFCon, then it's CAFs solely. And I and again, I can tell you. I mean, one day I can't do this forever. I mean, I want to do it forever.
Well, we need you to live to about 90, 91 too. Bill.
Right. No, I know, and it's you think about it. Most people don't keep one job for 18 years. I've been doing this for 18 years. I mean, at some point, and nobody understands the burden of having to have the like half the comic art world on my shoulders. If my servers go down, just imagine everybody's eyeballs are going to be on me. I don't make enough money to have a tech that can be in that position that I can be staring at them to get it fixed. I'm the guy at the end of the day. And so, it's wearing on me. The older I get, the more I look at this, and it's like, this is a lot of responsibility. I'm really in a precarious position. And so I don't know. I mean, I don't know where I don't know where I don't know where I'm going to be 18 years from now, but I want to be involved in the hobby for sure. It's just, I in ways I hold CAF back, right? Because I can't afford an extra guy to work all the time. CAF still isn't mobile friendly. I mean, it sucks for me to look at it and realize that for all the great things I did to get us here, it's like, man, to get to that next step, we need an app. There's so many things we need that unless I took on like a big investor or something, how am I ever going to get that done? There's going to become a point in time where I'm not going to be able to keep up with the technology, and and that concerns me. So you know what I mean. So I don't know. This is a totally different conversation than calling it CAFCon or Comic Art.
Not everything has to be on your mobile phone. I mean,
oh no, I know that's why CAF has been able to survive and be fine and function. And I just look at it like, well, where are we going to be 10 years from now? That's the real concern for me. And unless something really crazy happens, where I could afford 2 or 3 techs to help me really move things along, it's just tough. That's all.
Can I just tell you though, Bill? Because I'm sure you know it because you just mentioned it. But I'd recently been speaking with what I would call a younger subset of collectors lately, guys in their like mid to late 30s, and so younger than you and I, and Rich. But so it turns out like these are guys that tend to they don't perhaps use CAF every day for sure. They tend to hang out on like Instagram, places like that. And so what they were all telling me was basically that for CAF, the reason we don't go there as much anymore is because of what you brought up. It's that whole, it's not mobile friendly. That's the number one thing they were all saying.
Yeah.
And the second thing that they all wished could be implemented eventually at some point would be, okay, mobile friendly. And number two, if it could be that the system of Facebook chatting or, live chatting, YouTube, whatever you want to call it, if you could implement that type of interactivity on the site.
Right. Well, that's what the younger generation wants. I mean, that's why CAF really hasn't grown in 10 years. Because
there was a chat feature on CAF way back when, wasn't there? Or
there was. There was. I turned it off. I mean, and there is one now. Yeah. Nobody uses it. Or not.
I remember I used to chat with Brian Peck and a few other people way back when. Like I can't remember.
Oh yeah, with that chat. Yeah, I had that on there. Yeah. So we did it, and it worked well. There was reasons why I had to turn it off. It was. Could I put something like that back in there? Absolutely. But the thing is, trust me, I started down the mobile friendly work 6 months ago. It's just it's daunting. CAF is a massive site. At the end of the day, if you had the number of things that are out there that make up CAF and its functionality, I could put 2 developers doing the work on it, and it would probably still take us
it would take you forever.
It would take us at least 4 months to get it done.
Because one of the things I always think would be a great idea is to take what's happening on Facebook, the groups specific to specific artists, and somehow build that on CAF.
Right.
Because I'm not, and they're all volunteer people. You wouldn't have to pay them. But there's people that do want to administrate, or maybe people that have expertise in a specific artist. And of course, we have access to all the original art. So it seems like the discussions would be a lot better that way too. But I don't know how easy that would be to pull off. And I don't even know if it would work that way. If you could pull people from one to the other,
it's tough, and it's a question of how much. It was really hard to get moderators just to help me with the not work safe art, for the longest time. And like somebody mentioned there, you'll need mods. You'll need a bigger volunteer community. When I had a forum, the first forum I did, I turned it off because I couldn't manage it. I mean, there was a lot of vitriol, and those are things and that's kind of stuff goes on Facebook and Twitter and everywhere else. And that's not the kind of stuff that I wanted to have. I wanted CAF to be the place we all went to enjoy the hobby, and that's, I don't go to the CGC forums that often. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, I know that, by and large, it's fine conversation over there, but there's enough negativity over there that I just tend to avoid it. I like to I wanted CAF just to be that place where we could go and really enjoy the hobby, and everybody treated it that way. Leave comments on artwork you like, because you want to share the love of the hobby. And
it's probably the smart way. It's purer that way. Yeah,
that was right. And so that was my approach. And I figured let the other people deal with the social aspect of the hobby. And it was a negative in terms of losing some traffic to Facebook and Instagram and those other places. And fortunately, though, with this channel, we've kind of recaptured some of that and given us an outlet that we wouldn't really get through Facebook, or you wouldn't get through Instagram. So this is my way of having that now. But having it within CAF probably wouldn't happen. But does CAF need to be mobile friendly? Absolutely. But if I could click my heels and just have it mobile friendly, I would do it. But I can tell you, when I built the show, all the programming that's in the show, that's all mobile friendly, but the framework around it that is CAF isn't. So, but it's ready. So whenever I make the framework mobile friendly, that at least Comic Art Live as a convention within CAF will be ready. But all the gallery work, your admins, oh my gosh, it's a big project.
Bill, may I also tell you the third thing that when I was doing my little market research with these younger guys, what they had told me. So they said basically, like, okay, since the first thing it's not really happening, the second thing not happening right now, they were saying, like, okay, what about at the very least, if you're premium, and when you're premium, you can follow other members, right? Other galleries. So they were saying, they all agreed, and I was part of the agreement. I also believe, and you brought this up, and I'm sure you'll remember, you brought it up in one of the episodes already. They say, if you want us to come in and be more, we want to be more interactive in the hobby, and of course, CAF makes it difficult, but at the very least, for those of us who follow other galleries, we would really all love to know who is following us. So that's how we know, hey, you clearly, if you're following me, the likelihood is that it's because you like the kind of stuff that I collect, and vice versa. And so that would allow us to make it easier for everybody to kind of contact each other and get to know each other and build.
Okay, so are we, I agree. Well, okay, so fine. So I'll just say that back in the day, when we came up with following other people's galleries, I didn't like the idea of wanting to publicize that, because I felt like, well, maybe some people don't want, they don't want me to know that I'm following you, Ruben.
Yeah, I remember you saying that on the previous chat.
And so I felt like, well, if a few people feel that way, then you can't make it you just can't turn it on and let everybody know who's following everybody, because you're betraying the few people that it would bother.
Yeah, but why assume that they are the majority? How do we know they're not in the minority?
Well, they are in the minority. I mean, I agree. But my feeling was it had to be one way or the other. And if you had anybody that wouldn't like that, but is it one of the things just like blocking people from being able to email you? That's probably the number 2 requested or asked question. How can I see who's following me?
Oh yeah.
You create a feature. You create a feature that allows.
I get it all.
You to say, okay, I'm gonna allow you to see who I am, or something of that nature.
Right. It would have to be like opting out of allowing your artwork to be favorited,
like a privacy setting.
Right, where you could just say, "Don't let people know I'm following them." Right. So I'd have to roll it out. I'd have to be like, all right, on this date, I'm going to turn it on so everybody can see who's following you, and anybody that wants to opt out of it will have to go in and do that before I turn it on. Because I could turn it on tomorrow. I mean, there's nothing to it. I already know. I show you a count of how many people are following you. It's just data to me. If I can count them, I can show.
I always assumed it was kind of an easy switch. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, no. I just always felt it was a privacy thing. I just felt that was my.
What about taking a? Do you have the ability to take polls on the site somehow? Maybe we poll all members, or
like a survey.
Right. I mean, I probably could, but I do think that it would be just as easy to do what we're saying. I'm going to roll it out on July 1st, I'm going to have this feature on there. If you want to opt out of letting people know, and probably most people won't. Again, it'll be back down to like 5% of the collectors aren't going to want them to know, because you don't want to know why. Because it's like when you've got two people competing for the same thing,
Right.
like Chuck Costas and Alfredo are competing for Mike Zeckard,
Yeah.
but they're not really friends.
Yeah, I get it.
You know, Chuck isn't going to want Alfredo to know that he's following him, that he wants to see every update he makes.
Absolutely.
He wants to, you know, he doesn't he doesn't want to give Alfredo the pleasure of knowing that he is following him. So that even
Nobody
makes
can
it
be
harder.
surreptitious anymore.
You know what I mean? So
I absolutely understand.
so Chuck could look at it and say, I only want Alfredo to not know that I'm following him,
Right.
but I don't care. All the other 100 people I follow, they can know. So then it just gets then it gets complicated. So you know, so I've always just looked at the issue of it's just better to show a count than to worry about, because you know there's a couple people who are following over 1,000 galleries. I know it was. I didn't trust me. I figured nobody would follow more than 100, and I was getting this weird error. I get emailed that every single time the site has an error on it, and I was watching it. I forget who it was. I mean, it's a well-known collector, and I kept getting this email, and it tells me if they're logged in who it's happening to. So I'm looking at it, and it just kept happening, and I'm like, what the hell? I don't even know what page that is. So I had to go to the page myself, and I had never even really looked at it, but it was a page that loaded every single gallery that you're watching and ordered by date. And so here it's trying to load 1,200 gallery results by date on a single page. And it was, you know, it wasn't crushing the server, but it would never load for him because he had hit a point. So I had to put paging on that thing, so it only show 100 at a time. Because who would have ever thought that somebody would do that? So anyways,
for sure. But are you saying then? Are you saying that you would consider doing it with an option?
I would probably just do it where I would, you know, like I said,
opt in or out.
Right. On July 1st, I'm going to let every premium member know who's watching their gallery.
Yeah.
And if you don't want them to know it, or it's either you're in or you're out. So you can, you know.
That's fantastic. Do it. I think you make a lot of people happy.
All right, I'll do it. Hey, there's like 70 people following my gallery. I don't know why, but sure, I'd like to know who they are.
Because you're Bill from Comic Art, man.
Right, exactly. You know, I get it. But anyway, all right. You know, again, that's because trust me, it's the easiest thing in the world, but I never really knew how to handle the privacy issue, and so I just avoided it.
Yeah,
because,
Bill, if you want to get people from Facebook to CAF too, you could do like almost like a clickbait. Like, here's the #1 piece posted today or this week. Click here to see the other 5. You know, that might be something to do, like to draw people from Facebook to CAF. Just something they have to click on to see the rest.
The trick is just where do you hit them at Facebook? You know, I don't want to be a nuisance in all the comic art groups, and I don't have the time to always go out there. But that's what the daily email really was for, to just feature collectors' artworks, and hopefully you have that.
I was never trying to suggest that was a goal of yours or that it should be a goal of yours. I just feel like it seems like a lot of those groups would be just a more natural home for them.
Oh, it would be. And we thought about it early on. I mean, we were out there before Facebook, and certainly long before Facebook groups took on, and I looked at it, all of that, and I just avoided it because I always felt like, my God, how am I going to moderate or find people to run those things? And that's the part that always scared me. And again, I just always wanted CAF to be the place everybody came to have a good time and walk away happy. And I didn't want it to be that way, you know. And it's so I don't know. It's not a detriment. I mean, CAF is my full-time job, right? At the end of the day, I'm very fortunate that, you know, it has the advertising support that it has and the premium member support that it has. And, I
mean, every form of social media eventually finds its niche. I mean, I agree that Instagram is a great sort of app to sort of find artists and connect with artists. I mean, after we did our interview, I contacted Ryan Heshka about those Honeymoon in Hell pages just to find out if they were available. And, you know, they were already sold to one collector. But I mean, just having the ability to chat with him is great. Mm-hmm. But there are really frustrating aspects about Instagram too. You know, you talked about the fact that the picture has always got to be in that square format. You can't really zoom in and look at it very well. And You know, that was the reason why I really jumped on Tumblr early on, is that you could get nice big images, you know, and load them and then sort of open them up big and look at them. But Instagram is all about likes and algorithms, and I don't even understand it half the time. So.
Right, and I you know, well, that's why we added likes eventually. But Johnny, that you can actually unfollow a gallery or a members gallery in a couple different ways. If you go to their gallery, you can just unclick the heart icon at the top of the screen, or if you there's actually a page that allows you to unfollow kind of en masse. I forget exactly how you get to it. I think it's from oh gosh, is it from your view all page on the watch list? No, that just lets you see everybody by date. There is a place, it must be off your premium dashboard, that allows you to do that, or your premium preferences page, sorry.
Yeah, unclicking the heart, that's the easiest way for sure, you know?
Yeah, unclicking the heart at the top is the easiest thing to do. Takes it away. But
because I noticed even in the latest version of Instagram that loaded on my phone, it was asking me whether or not I wanted a count of the likes, or if, you know, if it actually had a physical, or I mean, a numbered count of all, or if you don't care, then you don't hit it. I mean, right. I don't know even why people focus on those types of things. It's, you know, if you're going to lead your life that way and you're worried about how many likes you're going to get on shit, then you're probably not living the life that you should be.
Well, that's the way, you know, likes are very fleeting. And just so Johnny knows, that if you go to your premium preferences page, in the first set of links underneath premium member settings, there's a link for manage watch calf galleries, and it lists everybody out alpha, but there's also the date that you started watching them, and it's an easy way to just check off the people you don't want to follow anymore, and then click delete, and it removes those people from your watch list. So that's the other way. I knew there were a couple different ways you could do it, but yeah, see, people who aren't premium don't even know about watching or following other galleries. But yeah, what we do, just for those who aren't premium, you can follow anyone's gallery, and as part of the daily email that we send you from CAF, there's a keyword. There's a premium member keyword email that you have that you can set up all your favorite keywords. It will email you anything that matches those keywords from a members gallery, or from whether it's for sale or if it's in the classified. So it breaks those each keyword out into 3 separate sets. So if you're following, you know, John Byrne, you're going to get a list of collected works, dealer works, and classified stuff. So super easy. You will never miss anything that you really want to follow on CAF. But if you're following, say, 50 CAF galleries, if any of those galleries make an update, we will, you know, it'll show you who they are, and then any of the artworks that they added, right in that same email, and we send that out twice a day to premium members. So it's different than the want list keyword alert that we have that is partially free but better for premium members. But premium members get to do all of that, so you almost don't have to go back to CAF every single day. As long as we allow you to have 100 keywords in there, so you're pretty much covered as far as all your interests, and it's all in this one email that you get once, and you can schedule it twice a day. You actually get to pick the time you want to get it. You want to get it at noon, and then you want to get it at 9 p.m. We'll send them out twice a day, and it's like a 24-hour running count. So you really only need one. But if you want to really stay ahead of the curve, you can do it that way too. But that's how it works.
You know what? It's funny that now that we're talking about this, this is probably, out of all the different ideas you have for episodes, this is probably one that you should do real soon. One episode, one night in one of these coming weeks, where it's just about you telling everyone why they should be premium. I really think that would be helpful.
I've always said I'm terrible at marketing. Yeah. I mean, I really need to record a show that's strictly about why premium members have such a good, you know.
I really do think
so many people think it's just about getting in the classifieds, but it really isn't. I mean, that was we started with that because I knew everybody wanted that, but then we just started adding features. Remember, everybody in the early days wanted to donate money to me, and I said I don't want donations. I'd rather add features to the site to make it cooler, and then if you like those features, then we'll make then you'll have that, you know. And if you don't like them, it's okay. You know, Facebook is free. Imagine it. You know, I've had so many people say you should make everybody be premium. You know, but I'd lose 75% of our audience, you know, or our users of CAF. I mean, that you would do that. You would leave Facebook in a heartbeat if they said you have to pay $75 a year for that.
For sure. No, it's absolutely. That's not a smart idea. It's absolutely.
No, it always needs to be optional. But yeah,
teach people why they should
Sure.
become premium, right? It's teaching them, because the truth is, in my experience, and this has happened so much over the years, I've had so many people come to me say, yeah, so you're premium. What's the difference? You know, I swear to God, like, that's what they say.
I know.
What's the difference? What do I get? You know, and it's like, I got to explain everything. It's like, so that's why it'd be great to have a video like that for everybody that they can go back to all the time, as you know, as many times as they want to, and figure out all the features, you know?
Well, I used to
agree.
feel like that.
The guilt for me is excruciating because I think I'm still the only one here that hasn't gone to premium.
Oh, Rich. We got
That's all
But
right.
I mean,
Rich, you don't-
it gets back to the same argument about what do you want to get out of CAF? I'm not a guy that's constantly going on CAF on the hunt for stuff. The only thing I feel guilty about is that people can't see my stuff in a larger JPEG. But I mean, I have other forms of social media that, like I've got it always on my Instagram. If you follow me on Facebook, that's when you're really going to see the big JPEGs. So
the problem with that, Rich, the problem with that is that the community is already on CAF, right? Like the largest portion of the community is on that one website, right? Because when you're already on CAF, you can go from one guy's gallery to another guy's gallery to another, and thousands of galleries, right?
yeah, but if you're on CAF every day like I am anyway, and you're checking out the new art that's being posted, you've already got an internal list that you check on people that you follow, even on your own. So that's not really a big concern for me either.
No,
I've only recently gotten onto the email list that Bill puts out, and I appreciate being up to date with what's going on CAF. But for me, it's never been a high priority to, I guess, become a premium. I mean, I feel guilty about it because I'd like to.
No, you shouldn't. I mean, I don't think about it at all. All I can say is I love every premium member that goes premium, and I don't hold it because the CAF needs everyone, whether they're premium or not. We need people sharing their artwork, sharing their knowledge of the hobby, Rich, and you bring all that. I don't expect.
I was already had my network of other collectors that I knew about built in even before I really came to CAF. So I don't really. Maybe it's because I was in the CFA APA for years and years. I don't think of that part of it really that much. So.
No, I'm with you, Rich. I'm not premium yet, but since you've been doing all these shows, Bill, and I've been listening, I'm considering it, and I actually wrote myself a sticky note.
But I'll show you a couple things. I'll show you a couple things, and I'll just share
I'm the
my
same
screen.
way. I'm the same as Drew.
Can I
add that I became premium. I became premium because of these CAF Art live shows, and I didn't become premium before because I say, why am I going to spend money if I could spend it on art? But CAF Art Live, I see there's so much value to this.
I'll tell you that was eye-opening for me. I'll be honest. When we did the first Comic Art Live, I had people become premium members who had been members of CAF since 2003, 2004. And nothing I had done before that was, tip the scales, right? But that did. And so for me, I don't care. I think each person has to find their own thing of value, and maybe the whole thing makes the value, or it was the show that was the value to get the 2-hour early access, and or for some people it's to sell in the classifieds, and other people it's just the alerts that they get. But I mean. The thing is,
being part of the CAF community is very important to me. That's like the
right. Yeah. Well, just remember, I really that's never been as I am never going to make CAF into.
I know that secretly you resent me, Bill. For...
But I've shown this before, but you can see in the update section, like everybody just has a regular set of 10. If you're premium and you're following other galleries, you get a list of the people you're following right beside the list of everybody current. Yeah. So I mean that's one way that we alert you when your friends are making updates or the people you're following are making updates. Is it's always there right beside the most recent updates, and then everybody gets this little breakdown on their charts and stuff. But like in here. This is the dashboard that everybody has access to, but not everybody has the same dashboard. Premium members have different features than people who don't. But so I can follow people's galleries, but at the same time, like in this little section here, this actually shows you all the art from the people whose galleries I'm following that were just added. So So I follow Kirk. So his piece is there. The next one is Andrew Allen. Great. And look, he's got a nice Micronauts page. I might not have seen that otherwise, but I follow Andrew because I love his Micronauts collection. Then, of course, Michael Lovitz. He just picked this up on Dueling Dealers recently. So I can see those three right there. And these were all, again, if I look over here at the list, you can see those are the three people who I'm following. Zadix and Monty are going to be next in this list. But I can sit here and just flip through and just see all the people I'm following. What have they been adding, in the and I think this is a 7-day filter, but I can just scroll through and see what all the people whose collections I admire the most, the artwork that they're adding in a simple way. I don't have to go to every one of their galleries now or scroll the new art section to find it. I can just hop in here and see who's the collections that are most important to me, what artwork they're adding. And then similarly, this is like the premium member mailing, but a semi-light version. This one, you can plug in a keyword. And so I have Batman in there, but I'm not a DC guy. I do it just for the results, so I can always make sure it's working right. But so I've got Batman in there, and I can basically go and sort through all keyword matches to that keyword that have been added to just CAF galleries. This isn't stuff for sale. This is stuff in people's collections. But and you can see I have like Frank Miller, John Byrne. I put X-Men in there. So, and then I those same keywords I have broken out into separate sections. So these are premium member classified matches to Batman. So, and this is stuff that you're not going to get when you're not premium. But if you want to have a simple, easy place to go on a daily basis to catch up on all the things that are most important to you, and then here's dealer section Batman, you're just not going to miss anything if you're premium. And as long as you don't mind going around and hitting all the galleries that you know about or thumbing through the news section, being a premium member, these things allow you just easier access to finding the things that you're looking for every day on CAF anyway, and the keyword searches you're typing in all the
Looks
time.
like you might be a little behind in your emails there, Bill.
Yeah, well, I get them all. I know. I think the last time I showed this off, I think James Siegel gave me a bunch of proof for that. Obviously, I get all my emails in my email, so I don't always have to go over here and click that to see whose emails I've not looked at. I don't always go back, as you can see, and check who's hearted my stuff and whatnot. But yes, now I've got it back to zero.
Bill, Shaggy Wong has a good question. I'm wondering if you've ever considered that. I wasn't even
perhaps give a free. I've been asked about that. Early on, I only gave like 7-day free premiums, but it was to new members who really were coming to the site and didn't know what to do with it. So no, it's something that I've considered, and I probably would do. I wouldn't want to do it around a show because that would give people the option, the ability to exhibit and get in free. So I wouldn't do that, but I would have to do it in between shows. Give people like 2 months to try it out. But
even 30 days is good,
Yeah, well, but to do that, I would definitely need a better handbook for how to use it, because right now it's like everybody comes in and they're still. That's why people ask, why would I ever want to go premium, and they don't know, all the features that are in there. So
maybe make that video, a pre-recorded video, and then you could link to it from the site or something like that, so people don't have to read about all of it. They could just look at the video and say, it tells you step by step. Look at this feature. Now let's go on to the next feature.
Right. No, I know. I mean, it's
easier to watch than to read a bunch of stuff, I guess, is what I'm kind of getting at.
Right. No, it's. I'll definitely entertain the idea of doing it after Comic Art Live is over. Maybe it's something I do in like around the month of August. And almost make it an opt-in kind of thing. I don't think I'd want to just give it to everybody, because the last thing I'd want is 10,000 members to all of a sudden start getting hourly emails.
Right.
That wouldn't look too good. So I'd have to come up with a way to roll that out, like as a request system or something that they want to have it, and then we see how, and then I'll trial it out, because that's the other thing, that I wouldn't want to have something weird happen where I crash the system for all premium members because I turned so many people on at one time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there, but again, I forget half the things that are in there for premium members. So I don't know how.
Me too.
But that's why those things are very autopilot. Everybody gets those emails all the time. And if everybody's really enjoyed the want list emails, just remember that premium members get their want list email within 5 minutes of the artwork being added to the for sale database. Basically so you can have, right now it's 20 keywords. I really need to expand it to 50 or 100. But premium members get emailed in 5 minutes of a piece of artwork being added for sale into our database, which means, the beauty of it is the dealer network that I have, as soon as they add artwork to their site, it populates CAF. So within 5 minutes, I will email you all, everything that matches your keyword set. Non-premium members are in there, but they're delayed. I think 4 hours or something like that. And on top of that, I don't give Comic Art Tracker anybody's data for 8 hours. So anybody that thinks they want to just use Comic Art Tracker to find their stuff, premium members on CAF get the real perk, because they get it 5 minutes within 5 minutes of art being added. So I love Comic Art Tracker. We crawled sites way early on, and that wasn't the model for me. And I support their work a lot, by letting them have real easy feeds to everybody I work with. But premium members on CAF get that data as it happens. So, if you're buying, if you're an art buyer, there's a benefit. If you're an art seller, there's a benefit. And if you're just a guy who loves CAF, there's the benefit of all of easy access to find what you love. And
that's a feature I pleasantly discovered when I became a CAF member. Getting those notifications. I was actually Kirk is actually holding a couple of Star Wars pages for me right now, and that was on May 4th when Jeff was being interviewed, and I was able to scoop those up. And if it wasn't for that feature, there were probably a couple guys behind me that wanted them, and I beat them to it. So it's great value that I didn't know CAF had. But you took CAF to the next level doing Comic Art Live, and that's what tipped the scale for me.
It made a difference. And a lot of people support CAF just because they want to support Maureen and I, right? We've always kept everything super reasonable. You look at it, we could have taken the whole thing in a totally different direction and said, man, we should be making all the money that we possibly could, and I should be selling advertising for 5 times more than it is, and all these things. But I don't. Ruben knows how much I charge for. My dealer sites I charge them about 20% what it would cost if they went on the open market and got bids for the work for what they have. And then when you add in the marketing that they get from all the CAF alerts, that because they're tied to CAF, I do it for next to nothing. At the end of the day, I charge about as much as GoDaddy charges for hosting. So I've really done this because I love the hobby, and I wasn't looking to become a millionaire, and that's why it's all free still, and it's okay. I lead a good life. I don't resent anybody for not being premium or anything. I just want everybody to get the most they can out of the hobby that they want to get out of it, and if CAF helps them get some of those things, great. And that's all. So Rich, I don't harbor any resentment whatsoever. Not at all, man. Not at all. But yeah, I do. I will figure out how to do some kind of a trial. I think that'd be cool. I think if you had the opportunity to play around with it, you'd find out that it would save a lot of time, and you'll find things. I find things that I would have missed because I can't check CAF out.
No, I can believe that. Just the way you describe it, I can see myself finding stuff quicker. But I guess I've never really been. It's not really a race for me. Like I don't really. This year, I guess because of the lockdown, I've been spending more money and been a lot more aggressive with my buying. But that's not me, generally speaking. Like I go to shows, and if I see something, then I buy it. But I don't go to the show with. I know I described going to Mignola's table right away, but I don't generally go into a convention with some sort of game plan where I attack. I'm not, and I don't even like sort of. Like that sort of competitive sort of bidding or buying, I'm not a big auction guy. The Heritage auction was my first auction, and I'm just not into sort of competitive collecting. I guess that's my thing. I don't know. Can
I say one thing real quick? Particularly for you, Rich, just because you mentioned it earlier, and I guess for you, Drew, since you're also still not a premium yourself, but my reason for becoming premium, whenever that was, ages ago, because initially I wasn't, is because as a lover of the art, I've always been obsessed with wanting to present my art in the best light possible. And so I'm just obsessed with, if you love the art, my idea is, shouldn't you want people to see it in as, a good and light as you can?
No, I understand that. And the thing is, I do have it presented in great ways, but not on CAF.
No,
to other collectors. The
right.
other collectors would have to find me in order to see it, in a
Right.
better way.
All I was getting at was the whole, the idea that what sold me was I was getting tired of me having my scans being squeezed into the 800 pixel tall
No,
limit,
I understand. Yeah.
right? And the thing is a lot of people don't realize, because most people will, when they scan their art, they scan it larger than 800.
Oh, totally.
And what happens is when they upload it, because it's forced into the 800 max, they don't even seem to realize that all the line art it gets all pixelated.
No, it gets lossy. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's so hard to appreciate, and that's why I became premium. Just for that alone,
right.
That's something I discovered as well. I didn't know that.
And we don't tell you that. I mean, again,
I knew everything about scanning because I've been doing that for years. But when I did my interview with Bill, I basically sent him, 200 DPI scans of everything just so he could, put it together the way he wanted to put it together. But it's not really. I don't lay awake at night thinking there's some other collector can't see my artwork because it's only 800 pixels.
I'm just telling you from my perspective.
Yeah.
Like, listen, in the last 5 years, I've made a really intense effort to be more interactive with the community, right? So the way I decided to do that was by leaving comments, right? Leaving comments in particular. And because I spend so much time doing that, and there's only so many hours in a day, right? Quite frankly, I can't leave for everyone. I'll just say, and I'm not saying this to make you feel bad or whatever. I'm just telling you how I do it myself.
Right.
The way one of the ways I limit myself is when I see, not always, there are exceptions, but when I click on something, I'm like, okay, let me take a look at this. And it's like, oh God, it's all pixelated. It's an 800. I'm not going to leave them a comment. Forget it. So I tend to not leave comments or likes to those people where the presentation just isn't really grabbing me. You know what I mean?
You're a hater. You're a hater, Ruben.
I'm not a hater, man. I'm just telling you. I gotta limit myself somehow.
No, I
know. That's the way to do it, I guess.
Right. All right. Well, I'm gonna have a show that talks just about the premium features, and I'm gonna come up with a way to give everybody a trial, and I will also come up with a way to show who's watching your gallery. If you're a premium member, you can see. Because remember, not premium member can see that people are watching their gallery. Hey, Rich, I'm sure you've got people watching your gallery.
Oh, I'm sure I do too. Yeah, and I do.
I'm not going to let you see them though because you're not premium.
Bill, if we go
every time I watch one of these CAF things, I do start to think about maybe I should get a premium membership. So and you guys have kind of planted the seed again tonight, so I'll look into it again. And so
if we go premium today or tomorrow, can we still get in Saturday, or what's the cutoff? Like, is it automated? Or
yeah. You know what? My best friend at the was it November, the last show?
November,
yeah. My best friend who collects, right? The only guy who I know who collects here in the city where I live. That's what he did. That's what he did. He's like, okay, I finally bought premium. I want to get into the show 2 hours early. Okay, good.
So yeah, all I would say is please, it would be better if you did it tomorrow than doing it 5 minutes before the show. Because I actually do upgrade when the payment comes in. I actually go in and set the upgrade. And the first show, literally 20 people paid the $35 3-month option in the 10 minutes before the show. And so the show is going, and we actually had problems with that, as people knew. For West Coasters had some problems. And so I'm sitting here upgrading accounts, yelling at Maureen in the other room that I'm getting emailed from people in California. They can't get into the show, and they're wondering what's going on. And I just keep sitting there upgrading all these accounts. So please don't. And that's another aspect of our low tech. Haven't really gotten to the 21st century of real time payments. So yeah, I would encourage anybody that wants to go premium to get in 2 hours early. Please do it at least an hour before the show starts, or do it tomorrow. Do it tonight. So that way because that'll happen, and then people will be like, I couldn't figure it out, and then they want their money back. I've never had a refund of premium payment before, but in both those shows, I had people who were new to the site, couldn't figure it out, paid with it, or even paid in the first hour of the show going live, and then felt I didn't get my money's worth. I don't want to go through that. I don't want to be I went through that when I owned Big Wow with everybody, the people who were dissatisfied with their con experience. Those are the ones that people I don't want coming in there at the last minute to think that they're going to get something great out of their 2 hours there. So
what does the annual membership go for premium?
75.
75. And how do you work it out? Do you just basically have people's credit card number? They can automatically renew it?
No, that's why we haven't gotten high tech like that. I mean, I just do it through PayPal, and when your account is expiring 30 days out, every Monday morning at 7 a.m., I run a routine seeing who's 30 days from expiring, and I send out an email letting you know you're expiring. And so, so if you paid it right then, I just add a year to your current expiration. A lot of people think they have to wait till the day before it's going to expire.
Right.
But no, I just pay 30 days before it's going to expire, and I'm adding a year to whatever your expiration is. And so no, it's not I could actually do it as a subscription service with PayPal. I've just chosen not to do that and let people just make their payment every once a year, and it's worked fine.
So it's actually cheaper to go annual than it is every 3 months then.
Yeah, well, I'd never done a 3-month one until the show in last May. I was like, well, I got to offer an option. This is how I can do a trial. And it was funny. There were several people that paid the $35 for May and then paid the $35 in November. When they could have just, for $70 now, and they could have just spent $75 and had the whole year and all the premium features involved, that they would have gotten for that. But they prefer to just pay that $35 access. And so I was like, well, whatever. I mean, if that's, again, if it satisfies their need, then I've done that. Then then that's good. But I'd much rather everybody getting the most out of CAF than not. So. And if I could give it all away, I would. If I could, but I do need the premium people's support. That's really true. And we've been really, Comic Art Live has changed things. We are up premium memberships probably 30% since we started Comic Art Live last May. And that's that was a big number. I mean, it's taken us from, and it's probably even more than that. I bet you we were around 650 premium members at that time, and now we're when you combine them with market data subscribers, we're probably around 1,100 people. Supporting the site through those things. So it's great. I mean, it really did gave me hope again. I mean, trust me, at the beginning of 2020, we were at a point where I was starting to think maybe after I was going to get a job and I was going to coast and with CAF, because we just weren't growing. I had lost my programmer who's still a partner in here because we were both at a point where we were like, one of us might have to get a job one day. And he just so happened to get one 3 years ago before me, and so he did. And so I've been doing this solo with Maureen without having that extra support, and it was sort of getting me down. And the pandemic just changed everything for me, where I saw a cause to help the dealers get back, maintain their footing, and the collectors to get art. How do I get art in front of them in different ways? And so that really changed my outlook on CAF and the hobby and how I wanted to approach Comic Art Live and look at it as something that I felt like I can do for the rest of my life. And unfortunately, it's all worked out. I mean, it's like nothing like that worked out as in my life for all the things that I've tried to do, other than the first time I built CAF 18 years ago. So that's why I've got the energy to do the shows that I've been doing, because this has been the coolest thing ever to find something that really fulfills all these needs for me. When I was there. I mean, I had already put applications out in December of 2019. I was ready to kind of mentally move on in some ways from CAF, because I just felt like I wasn't gaining. I'm never going to charge what it's worth. Everybody's like, you should charge X, Y, and Z to these these people, but I don't. At the end of the day, I've always wanted to just make enough. But this stuff has really it's been the best thing, and I've made so many friendships. As I look at it now, and I've got 1,000 new friends, and we always knew who each other were. I've seen your names on CAF. But I never got to talk to you in person, and here we've had that opportunity. So it's been the best thing that's happened for me in the hobby, and I think in general the best thing for most of us, because we're never all going to be at the same show at the same time, the 5 of us. But here we are having a good time, and so it has. I'm now sure that I'm never going to get a day job. I'm only going to do this for the rest of my life, and whatever shape or form that takes, over the next 18 years. So
you should only be so lucky, man.
I know. It's like, it's really true that, it's very
do what you love,
to be able to do what you love. I mean, and
then it doesn't become a job.
Yeah.
Exactly. No, and
So
that's
Comic Art Life is the best thing that's come out of this pandemic, these crazy times.
I just
In
went
my
premium,
opinion.
Bill. I just
But
filled it out. I got my thanks for supporting Calf.
I better go check my
You're the
email
last
right
one,
now.
Rich.
More pressure from Drew.
Yes,
I
I
just
see it.
wanna add-
Andrew. All
I
right.
just want to
You
add that
get
if
it.
you wanna,
As soon as I sign off, Drew, I'm going to upgrade your account. But
Drew,
all right, this
now-
is not a telethon or whatever that's called. Yeah, I was not trying to solicit premium memberships from all of
Yeah,
this.
but Drew, imagine how guilty Rich is feeling
I know
now.
I am. I'm feeling pressure now.
That should be part of the services. Make someone else feel guilty.
There
I
you
just
go.
want to
There
add that
you
if
go.
you want to see how good the premium art looks once it's posted, look at the last 3 pages that I posted and compare them to the previous years.
Yeah.
And you'll see the last three postings look amazing.
Yeah.
And I discovered that when I became premium. I had no idea that I was posting and
Yeah,
it
yeah.
was, a level
What's
less.
the max is 2,200 pixels tall.
Yeah, I maxed it out at 2200. That's if you scanned a full size 11 by 17 at 100%, and I think that's how I came to the number. I have to go back and look, but that was the goal.
Still
Yeah.
too small for people to basically steal artwork and make T-shirts out of it, or
People can almost do anything,
Yeah,
but yeah, I didn't want to allow it to be bigger than that because then I know we'd have pirating issues. But when you're premium, you can watermark your art too. You can
Yeah, I don't
upload a
like that.
separate. I know I don't like it either. A lot of people hate it,
Yeah.
but it's an option for those people who are concerned about it, especially artists, because there are artists that use CAF, and when their images were bigger, I would get that complaint like I don't like my. Wait a minute, I'm premium now. My art's too big. I don't want.
What would be the advantage for me as an artist? Because I've often thought about, like, I've got a gallery that's named after me, which is kind of very uncomfortable. I didn't want to put my personal artwork, and I didn't want to put my animation stuff. And I thought, well, fuck, I'm an artist. I could put my own name on my own gallery. I shouldn't feel uncomfortable about that. But I mean, are there advantages to having a premium membership if you want to sell artwork, like you sell your own artwork, or?
Well, yeah, I mean, you get your art in the CAF classified, so
yeah, and people can search it by character, I guess, and stuff like that, or.
Yeah, and you think about it, and then it's pushed out in the premium member CAF mailings, of which now I've told you there's at least around 900 premium members. So if you're a premium and you're putting your stuff actively in the classifieds, that art is getting pushed out to everybody who's got keyword matches, and you know what I mean. So yeah, you could never if you sold 10 pieces of art on eBay over the course of a year, you'll pay more in fees to them than paying for a premium membership and selling
right
8 pieces, 7 pieces through CAF, and you'll probably sell it faster through CAF and make a connection that you would never make through eBay. So CAF is a deal, especially if you're a seller. But again, you wouldn't know that. I don't promote those things, but it is the truth. I mean, people, and you think about it, the guys who use CAF and sell hundreds of pieces of artwork, man. If I was I should be getting $750 for the guy selling hundreds of pieces, right? But at the end of but I don't, because at the end of the day, that wasn't the goal. The goal is just support CAF for whatever reason you felt, and if that's the value, if it's selling art's the value, then that's cool. So that's all. I mean, but I'll tell you, I like doing dealers because it's the first time I've actually got to actively participate in selling artwork. That wasn't my own, because I've been passively selling, $1 million in artwork for everyone in the hobby, whether they're the collectors or the auction houses I'm promoting or the sites we're crawling or the dealers I'm working with. CAF is responsible for at least $3 or $4 million in sales across the hobby every single month. And I get a big fat zero from all of that, other than the advertising, if you want to think of it. So doing dealers for me is fun. I mean, I've looked at it and thought, wow, one day it might have been, if I could do things differently, maybe I would have been a dealer or something like that. But I'm living vicariously through the amateur dealers and Mike and Anthony, just because it's fun. I mean, that I'm actually getting to engage with buyers and sellers at the same time in a way that well, clearly it's unique, but it's the first time I'm actually profiting from it because I charge a commission for it. Wow, I've never, other than eBay, who pays me a commission when I help drive sales, I've never gotten compensated for helping. I mean, you think about it, I've made millionaires out of people. I mean, CAF changed the hobby, and everybody's gotten rich at it, but me. And I don't care. I really don't care. I don't resent any bit of it. But that's why I love doing dealers, because it's just fun, and it's a way for me to see that because everything else is passive. That's the one thing that where I'm actually like, it's effectively holding the artwork and presenting it to you and selling it.
Yeah,
all
it's
the
exciting
others
to watch.
It is, and for me, it's been so much fun, and but that's the difference. I sell art for everybody all day. I mean, I guarantee you, at least 100 sales happen between collectors every single day on CAF, just collector to collector, and primarily thanks to the classifieds.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you rope in Heritage and Comic Link and Comic Connect and eBay and all the other things that we do, and all the dealers' inventory who I pull in and push out immediately. You know, Mike Berkey, he's like, Bill, man, I'm on a hot streak, man. I am selling art in like the first 10 minutes of posting it. I'm a god. And I'm like, Mike, don't you I'm like, what was it? He's like, it was some Mike Manola art or something like that. And I'm like, you realize that there's like 200 people on the CAF premium mailing list who's got Magnolia Seb as a keyword. I'm pushing your stuff out there in 5 minutes.
Right,
That's why it's selling. He's like, I don't
he
know.
thinks he's the genius.
No, it's me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, it's
the
me.
Hulk Cologne, Bill. It's the Hulk Cologne.
I know. So that's why that's dealers is so fun, because I'm actually engaged in that part of it. But it, you know, I don't care. But it isn't about that. But I love the fact it's so cool knowing when we did those features that it really worked well. I didn't, you know, I always build these things and I don't know how well they're going to work, but that thing works amazingly for the dealers. And yeah, so that's all. So that, yeah. So you get a bigger image, because if you're selling, you want to be premium, because then you are showing bigger images, because otherwise people are going to be asking you for bigger scans. So here you already get the bigger scan, you're in the classifieds, and so, yeah.
Hey, Rich.
Yeah.
Because you're now the only guy on the screen who isn't premium, and in this, let me finish. In the spirit of paying it forward, I'm going to get you your premium tonight.
No.
Yeah.
I'll pay.
No, I want to do it for you. I want to do it for you, really.
Yeah.
No, this is not a peer pressure episode, everybody.
I'm serious.
This is not
I'm
what
not short of cash. Trust me.
I'm not trying to guilt you. Let me do it for you as a gift for fun. Why not?
I've got to upgrade Drew's account here.
And you're the only other. You're the only other Canuck on the screen too. Come on.
That's true.
All right.
Socialism, right?
Exactly.
I will send you the PayPal for him tonight. Okay, go.
All right, I'll look for it.
Okay, I'm gonna have to do something for you, Rube.
Just promise that you'll actually, look around and try to use the features and see what you like, what you don't.
No, but I mean, the way you describe it, if I ever get to the point where I do have stuff of my own work that I want to sell, I'd obviously want that to be at 2200 so people can see it. I don't care if they don't see my Darrow at 800 pixels high. I don't give a crap one way or the other.
But you know what, Bill? There was up until a few years ago, Bill used to have the limit for the premium members at 1250.
Right.
And so
I think it was 1500, but it wasn't much. It was almost double, but it wasn't quite double.
1500?
I think it was 15. And you're upgraded, Drew. I haven't emailed you. You're
okay.
welcome. You're real welcome to the team, to the fraternity. So.
Hey, Drew, are you on Facebook?
Yeah.
Well, look me up on Facebook, because I want to friend you. I want to see your pinball machines.
Will do.
Okay.
But I just wanted to say that, in terms of the pixels, I've been for years doing them all at 1250, and I find that it's the perfect size, because anything bigger, it's good for detail and whatnot, but I've always disliked having to, like, when you get really big scans, when you got to not only scroll up and down, but also horizontal.
Yeah, you got to scroll the page a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just feel like 1250 is pretty perfect if you make a quality scan. But
I mean, I love seeing the heritage scans. I mean, even before I became, before I really became a heritage auction member, I used to grab scans all the time from that site. I mean, it was just back in the day when they had the drawing board message board. Did you guys ever go to any of that? Shane Glines used to have a message board site, and we used to trade crazy scans that we had way back then.
Trading scans, wow.
Yeah, no, I mean, we're just artist obsessed, right? You've got a rights in from such and such.
I've myself, I've been saving scans of every page that interested me, even in the least, since the 90s. So I've got tens of thousands.
Same.
Yeah.
This has been a telethon. Thank you, Stanley. Anyway,
Yeah.
this guy has actually been waiting for me for an hour.
Yeah.
Do this test for tomorrow. I don't know if I want to keep him up much longer, but I thank you all for making this a fun event this evening. It was certainly unplanned. I hope Tony was watching too, but his internet probably kept him off.
Yeah.
Any of this.
Sure.
Impromptu, but a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely. Alfredo, the tour of your man cave, your art cave was fantastic.
It was a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you. And Drew, thank you for going premium during the show. Or wait a minute, I should go up here. Thank you. And Ruben, you're always around. I appreciate it. Rich, you are too. You know that, and that's the thing. I always look at it as if you're contributing to the show, to the site. It doesn't bother me. I mean, because everything that adds value to CAF brings more people to CAF. And so that's why I always wanted it to be free, because it had to have meaning to a lot of different people. And so yeah, that's all. I mean, and you guys, what?
So I just wanted to ask you real quick, because I was talking to a well-known collector just yesterday, and I said, hey, like I do to most people, hey, why don't you do, have you ever asked Bill to do a chat maybe? And he's not premium, and I'm curious because he asked me, he says, aren't the chats only like he does it with premium members? And I wasn't sure.
No, I don't look at that at all. I mean, Rich wasn't, and Rich wasn't, and Michael Galtran has had a CAF gallery since August 2003, and he's never once been premium. So no, I mean, I've always just kind of, I look for names that pop up in on Facebook, or if I see something on CAF that I like. No, I've never looked at premium memberships as a reason for, and the artwork we feature in the daily email. It's not. I mean, there's that one piece on CAF that we randomly feature, but that's not a pick from me. So no, I've never treated collectors, whether they're premium or not, really any differently, other than the features. It was all about the features. It wasn't like you were joining a club. It was never like that. You don't get exclusive access to me or something silly like that. It's just, but no, I mean, I want everybody to want to chat with me. And that's why Scott Williams was never somebody I was able to get to ask, because so many people were always just coming to me. I mean, I have a list of probably 10 people I have to get back to that want to be on a show, and I want them to be on the show.
Oh, cool.
So, anyway, that if anybody ever thought that, please let them know not. And any collector, I've heard that some collectors feel, that they're just waiting for their call. And I don't want them to think that I don't have the time to make the call. I'm kind of at that point where I understand why CEOs have somebody else to answer their emails.
Yeah.
Because in the last 6 months with Comic Art Live really taking off, I mean, I'm generally a week behind in the general emails. I'll answer emergencies or people's customer support problems that they have really quickly, short, but there's lots of emails that I have to get back to with people that I just can't find the time to answer them in faster than 10 days if it's not pressing. And it shouldn't be like that, but that's kind of where I'm at right now, because I get 400 or 500 emails a day. And so whatever. I mean, I'm figuring it out. We're getting there. But anyway, I can't keep this guy waiting any longer, or I'm not going to have a drink and draw to show tomorrow evening. So, and I know that everybody would like to tune into that. So anyway,
thanks guys. Nice seeing you all.
Thanks. This was a lot of fun.
Yep.
Enjoy the show this weekend, please.
Definitely.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Bye bye.
Bye, guys.